Since I don't know if or when I'm gonna be in, I'm gonna turn my video off.
Oh, that's fair.
Aw.
He'll pop it back on if we end up bringing Pyron back in. All right.
Love you. Good night, baby.
Are we good, Keith?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Does anybody else want to give us a rundown, or should I start that? And if anybody has things to fill in, you can.
I don't remember.
Yeah, go for it.
I'll do that. That's fine. Okay, so when last our party of silly people were together and doing silly things, uh, the delegation of Nembi begins to deal with the queen. So that is where we started off, kind of in her throne room with Paul still a cheetah. You were gathered outside of that space into the dining room. After that, where Paul was uncheetified and was then a naked Paul in a cloak, where you were treated with tepid hospitality by Callan, who has, you found, sent his husband away to try to keep him out of the castle so he could figure out what to do to keep you guys from asking him to weave walk for you. This failed as he got back to a whole shitstorm of other things that he had to deal with and was unable then to actually manage the situation he was trying to manage. So Gallon kind of sabotaged himself there. Paul has fallen in love with the lady who was making the meals. She's kind of a healer in training still, and part-time at least, most of the time chef for the castle at this point. Who made
That's the way to
such
Paul's heart right there.
Yep, she made such delicious food that Paul becomes a blubbering idiot around her. And has no concept of the idea of attire being appropriate. So he was offered clothes. He now thinks that this place just hands out free clothes. And I think before we actually ended, he had decided that they hand out free clothes, but only if you're naked. So now I think he thinks that the way to get free clothes here is just to be naked. And I think at some point you actually might have suggested that to others.
It's very possible, yeah.
Yep. You discovered, I don't think that I'm mixing this up with the one before. No, I am not. You discovered that Siu, the young boy, young, the 15-year-old boy that kind of followed you into the castle is a foreseer. So he gets visions of things out of sequence, some in the future, some in the past. You at least are aware of some of the things from the past. He is not very good at having a poker face yet and keeping his thoughts to himself if he feels comfortable-ish around people. So you discover that. Let's see. Oh, there is a dance party impromptu with the delegation from NIMBY and Siu's mother and her twin children that are younger than Siu, wherein there is for Thea specifically, I don't think anybody else caught it. There is a strange similarity in the presence of, in the countenance rather, of Eric and Callan. You also realized that she seemed a little bit not uncomfortable, but cautious around Eden. And she tells you that she has a friend who is similar to Eden. And Thea has arranged for perhaps an introduction to be made the next day over lunch.
As well as for CU to meet with Arabella.
Yes, you foresee see you to meet with Arabella the next day as well. Trying to think if there are any other big. Oh, Teffin started making mouse person mech suits.
Yep. Not just mouse person mech suits though. Mouse person Voltron.
Mouse person Voltron. That's right. Yep. Yep. So you are actively dealing with Imogen and figuring out what their needs are and how you can best meet them in mech suit format.
Yeah.
Is that
exactly.
like a Power Ranger mech suit where they like come together to form a mega mouse?
Megazord. Yep.
Mega mouse.
Voltron came first.
Gotcha.
That's amazing.
Well, it maybe not first. Voltron came before Power Rangers.
Right. Well, and definitely before the Zords happened.
Mm-hmm.
The Zords weren't even the first bit of Power Rangers. So.
Yep. So that is a thing that is happening. There is talk of a reunion happening at the forge of some of their smiths' apprentices, former apprentices who have gone on to do other things. So Scylla's cousin might be, brother, might be there sometime in the near future. When we came in, or when we left, rather, Estiel had just come back from his ridiculous errand that he didn't actually have to go on.
Wild Goose Chase.
Wild Goose Chase. I can't think of anything else right off. Am I missing anything?
I think so.
And I think that was it
Paul
in broad
did,
strokes.
skedaddle out of the party and go to his room.
Yes,
Out of
you
the
made a music box for Demira, and as soon as you handed it to her, you used all the dash actions to flee as quickly as possible from any line of visibility she might have had. That is true. So, yes, that is a thing that also happened. So, and you got to talk to Pyron, who is now kind of stretched out of shape and sharp and pointy in places that he wasn't before, and all of that good stuff. There is talk of being able to cure him, but they need his consent before they can do any of the heavy lifting. So they're trying to get him back to a manageable state, so that they can make sure that he is okay with that course of action. Yeah. So I think that is the gist of what happened. So when we last left off, I believe you guys were actually in the dining room, and Estiel had just come in, realizing that Paul takes everything very literally, as he searched to find the ceremony that he might have been standing on underneath his feet. But
This
yes,
is clearly
the
a
conversation
game.
just started naturally. Buddy. His face. Cute little face. So yes, that is where we left off, and is where we can pick up. The grin just makes me very happy. It's just the best grin. It's just the best grin.
It's the giggles that's the best part.
Hold on, let me get him.
I love everything about it. The sweetest.
Got all the egg off of him. All right, buddy. Let's go hang out with you. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye.
If he had an especially long nap, I suspect we'll probably end up seeing him again at some point this evening.
Probably.
Dinner time is always an interesting time.
Indeed. Indeed.
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys are in the dining room with a very confused and bemused looking Renethri man who is very, very decorated and um, a bit tired looking at the moment. Um, he'll kind of glance between all of you. So I feel as if I have missed something rather important. Is that a fair assessment of the situation? Callan kind of shuffles his feet a little bit. They have a request. Very well. Um, I am more than happy to do what I can to accommodate reasonable requests.
That's a dangerous thing to say. Um, we have been set on a quest to find and remove Crochet the Deathless. And we need help to find his soul storages.
Phylacteries?
Sure.
Oh, that's right. You wouldn't know what phylacteries are yet. Interesting. So for this, you're hunting for their signatures, I assume, in the weave?
But it would appear that none of us have the capability to hunt it. My friend Paul here mentioned having heard of you during the battle for the mountain.
Ah,
And so we were hoping that we could ask your help. We would ask that you do not in any way engage Crochet. That is our responsibility, and I understand even more dangerous while walking in the weave. But if you could just find the location of you call them phylacteries, then we can take care of that. We don't have another way to find them.
interesting. He kind of cuts his eyes to Callan, um, and lifts an eyebrow. You knew they were coming. Just kind of
He
turns.
was helpful in finding our friend Pyron, who I understand you are helping. We communicated about this.
Ah, I see. I see. He looks down at Paul and looks like to each of you. I have heard stories. I see. Okay. Well, with the limited knowledge that I possess of Crochet, I believe it would be wise for me to assist you in this venture. It is dangerous and exhausting. Um, it has been a long day. I will be most effective and safest if I were to wait until tomorrow and build up some more strength so that I can do so most effectively.
What can we do to minimize the risk to you?
There's a
Uh,
ritual you could participate in, a safety measure of sorts, to anchor me to perhaps your own wavelengths within the weave. Give a bit of a springboard would not be the correct word, but Uh,
A lifeline, a tether?
say that again.
Like a lifeline or a tether?
A lifeline. A lifeline. Tether carries different notations, but yes, a lifeline, if you will, something of um, a safety net of sorts that might help ground me, and should I find myself in danger, be able to travel back more quickly. Um, that is a possibility. Um, so we could potentially do that if you would be willing. It would be a risk to you, but minimal by comparison. Um, I highly doubt that any harm would come to you in doing so. And at this point in my age and experience, I am not one to turn down assistance where it is offered if I feel like it would be useful. That is a younger man's game.
Is there any way you could take us with you? I don't know how this whole thing works, but could you drag us along as a shield, if nothing else? Well, several of us are otherwise magically inclined, but
Those of you who are magically inclined might be able to come and witness along. It
but
is a possibility.
I would like to find a way to shield you as best we can.
It is not an impossibility. Um, I will consider this and see if there's what types of magics do you have at your disposal?
Axe magic.
Most
Um,
excellent.
My particular brand of magic comes um, from I suppose you all know her here as Lady Death.
Ah, that could prove useful.
Anybody that smiles at Lady Death, be wary.
And you are also a mage?
Yeah. I have a bit of power over dreams.
Excellent. Excellent.
He's
Scylla
also
will.
really good at stealing stuff.
Ah! I I don't judge.
Just saying, watch your satchel.
I do not have a satchel. That's neither here nor there. Like he does like he's trying to kind of assess this strange relationship between you and Paul, trying to figure out like what's what the beef is there. Um, so kind of for a moment before kind of going back through um then Scylla will tell uh tell him that she is a sorcerer, um and Eric will tell him that he has some magic from the djinn. Um so as they
And
go
definitely have some small magics too, yes.
Yes, I prefer more practical applications. I tend to get my hands dirty creating things of a small magical nature.
I would like to apologize, Keith. My brain is like, you're a wild inventor, and I completely forgot that that means magic here for just a second.
Yep,
I had a bit of a
no worries.
stroke in that
It doesn't
particular part
come
of
up a
the brain
lot.
for a moment.
It does not come up a lot, but Tefn does in fact have magic.
You used shatter and stuff a couple of times.
Yep,
Yep.
shatter is a go-to. Mending, cure a little bit of cure wounds. Detect magic has come up, or not detect magic. Featherfall has come up on more than one occasion.
Thank you
Yeah.
for that.
Um, and wherein do your spells... What of your spells are the most comfortable for
Oh,
you? What's...
well, most often in a fight, I will rely on things that I've infused into my armor. I can cast Shatter if need be. I can heat metal if need be, and a few other minor things. I don't have a lot, but it is of a practical nature. Useful
Chest is a really
utility.
cool shooty thingy.
Yes, I'm currently not in my armor. They wouldn't let me bring it into the palace. I can't imagine why.
He smiles. Like, I understand. And,
It's
Lady
weird
Thea...
they let me in
What?
with everything I have.
I do have questions about that. Callan just shakes his head.
He only hangs on to that axe for the cleavage.
Go home.
I am.
So bad. So
Sorry,
bad.
I heard that one on TikTok. I had to use it for Paul.
I agree.
Oh dear. So, um, Lady Thea, was it?
You put up my dice.
What spells are you most predisposed to utilizing?
I guess it just kind of depends on the situation. I have a familiar that's with me pretty much all the time. So, cue Archimedes as a Bumblefuzz.
This is my owl.
Oh,
This is my owl. He's dressed up like a Bumblefuzz right now.
oh goodness.
So I keep that cast pretty much constantly. I also have like spare the dying if you would get if we got into a really tricky spot.
Good to know. Good to know. And you, Mr. Eden, was it?
Yes, Eden. I mostly use magic to bring people to the dead where they belong. Um, are you looking for specifics?
Possible utility where some of the spells that you know might be transmitted through the weave.
Ah,
In your particular case, if there are things that are designed to return creatures who are undead to the dead, it's not impossible that that could be used to repel from the
um,
weave.
I also have some minor compulsion ability. Um, invisibility, mostly things that are used for combat, though. Hold person, heat metal, um, things of that nature. But
Hmm.
so somewhere in between combat utility and mind control has such a negative connotation, but sort of that nature.
Yes, indeed. I see. And for those of you, like Miss Thea, that might have relationship to dream, things regarding illusion, illusory magic might be more useful in the context of being within the weave than what we might normally see out of a combat-oriented spell. Um,
You do have disguise self.
there might be options within that that we could utilize. I will consider this, and if we form a protective circle before I begin the ritual, then we can have those ideas on standby should In the event that something should sour, which hopefully it will not. Somebody's out of
Hopefully.
bed again.
Yeah, sorry, little girl is out of bed.
No, it's fine. It is my hope that you do not have to utilize any of those abilities, but they might not be bad to have in our back pocket. And Paul, it will be very important to make sure that no one is disturbed while they are in the circle. We will need a bodyguard.
Okay,
For-
so kill anybody that comes close.
Uh,
Got it.
You have to be.
You have to be
He
very
doesn't-
specific
Yeah.
in what you tell our
Oh, I
friend
understand.
here.
I got it. Where's the circle?
What
I
is
use-
Drax on Guardians of the Galaxy? What is he?
Oh, his people are entirely literal.
Yeah, literally. They take everything literally.
we will not necessarily require them be killed just for nearing us. If there
So
is
May-
any... If there is any hostile intent, yes.
Got it.
I'm going to have to reword this before tomorrow's circle. I will consider that before we begin it as well. Very specific directions before setting up. I see. So yes, we will attempt this tomorrow. After I've had a chance to line up a few things in the morning that I must do. Perhaps early afternoon. You've been treated well since your arrival? Excellent.
Very much so,
Indeed.
yes.
You have secured places to sleep, being well fed, all of those good things?
Yeah, the food here's really good.
Excellent. Excellent. I'm glad that you're finding it to your liking.
I like it.
Excellent. We will, of course, have places at our tables for you during your stay. So tomorrow, we will gather after the midday meal and try to find your phylacteries to see if we can track them down. Are there other ways that I can be useful to you?
That I am aware of.
Excellent. Are there any things that you need to make your stay more comfortable?
You have some more alcohol?
We have that very well taken care of. Thank you, though.
Well, should you need more, just call my name. I will find you.
We'll let you sleep.
I appreciate
We
it.
can fend for ourselves.
Excellent. If you do need anything, if you call for me or Callan, we will come to your assistance. So, do feel free should you need to.
Eden's just gonna sort of like side eye Callan.
He side eyes you back. There's a little bit of a sass in it.
So yes, sir.
He'll give you a graceful bow. Now, if you will, please excuse me for a brief moment. I am famished. And he will excuse himself to the kitchen. And when he goes through the door into the kitchen, like, you can see Callan just lets out this exhale. Thank you all for not ratting me out immediately. I appreciate that. I will do the work of that later myself.
Best not to come from us.
You're correct. You're correct. At any rate, I will see to it that he is taken care of. The night is, I won't say young, but it is still early enough in the evening. Do you need any guidance for anything that you would wish to do?
Drink.
He really does have a one-track mind.
I'm noticing this. If you would like to drink here, we can set the table for you and have your fill.
Sure.
It's a dangerous thing to say to Paul. Very well. Give me a moment, and I'll bring out some steins, some wine glasses, and a bit of an arrangement of different possibilities for you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. He'll give a bow himself and then exit into the kitchens to gather things. Leave you to your own devices for a moment.
Also very dangerous.
Yep.
Yes. I mean, there are definitely other people in the castle nearby that will hear if anything too crazy starts happening. His intention is to not leave you there alone very long. So
Out for the bets.
What's in this room that we're in? It's just like a table and chairs and.
yes, and it's a table that kind of automatically adjusts to the number of people that are in the room. So right now, it is a table that is just the right size for your gaggle of people. It has that precise number of chairs. So other than that, it's mostly empty. There are like kind of areas where there are like rolling service trays and stuff like that kind of to the back, just to make getting large scale platters and stuff easier, making that easier to get around the table and serve from. But other than that, it's pretty much just a dining room. This is not the most exciting room in the castle. So, yep. If there is nothing troublesome that is going to happen in the next few minutes, Callan will come back with all of the glasses and a few different offerings of alcohol.
It really just depends on how long he leaves me in there before alcohol is gone.
He's loading up a large like serving tray service of stuff. So while not terribly long, like 3 to 5 minutes.
By the time we're at like 5 minutes, I'm starting to like scratch at the wood or like of the table. Like maybe I'm trying to carve my name, so it's just lines, just a big X.
So as you do this, you start to feel a scratching at your calf.
Okay. I don't stop. I just keep going.
As you dig in, it digs in deeper.
Do I see like my calf starting to bleed?
When you look down, you see like, so the bottom of this is really delicately, like ornately carved into this big, like kind of mass tangle of vines that are supporting this table. It's all solid wood, but it's carved to look like vines in a jungle with some like animals hidden inside and things like that. And one of the vines has come untangled and is scratching you back.
I punch the table really hard.
Paul, that's not very nice.
Roll me an attack roll.
Mahogany.
I didn't realize I was going to have a fight with the table tonight.
That's a 25.
Well, you definitely hit. Go ahead and roll unarmed damage.
Okay. Is that that's just a D4, right?
Yep.
Plus strength.
Yep.
Oh crap. Okay, so that's 9 points of damage.
You punch it and like you feel this crack under where your fist hits. There's a little bit of re-knitting where the crack happens, but you feel the table tremble underneath you, and
I'm waiting.
I'm just going to lift my food up off the table and my drink and scoot back.
the table is one of the supports on the table like pulls away this like gnarled knot, and it's going to take a swing at you.
Sure.
Does a 17 hit?
Yeah, 17 hits.
This is so ridiculous. Okay, so that's gonna be 8 points of bludgeoning damage.
Dang, this
Just
table
like
can hit.
um
Actually, I'm
it is
so looking at the table. Are the NIMBY still on it?
no, they would have gone they're like in
Okay.
their room for the night.
Okay. Then yeah, I'm just gonna push back from the table.
So around the 5-minute mark is when this is happening. So Callan comes back in just in time to see the table taking a swing at Paul and landing a pretty serious hit. And he starts, and let's see how that goes for him. It's all right. He starts to lose some of the stuff that's in the tray, and he manages to and get it. Like, runs over to the table and like puts his hand firmly on it. Like, hold. What? I've never seen it do that before. I'm so sorry.
This table is
Don't be sorry, it
amazing.
was dessert.
I get down a little bit lower so my mouth is like next to the table, and I just slowly bite it. And I'm just trying to watch to see if like it goes to like bite me, and then like if the harder I bite, like if it starts, like I'm trying to test if the pressure increases with my pressure.
So you're just like on the ground biting a table?
Yeah, I'm not biting hard to start with, just enough for me like, okay, this is a bite, but
I'm never playing D&D with you again.
I mean, it's entertaining for me. I didn't know that this table would do this until tonight. So hey.
So from like 5 feet back from the table, holding this plate of food in my mug, is like, so who was on watch Paul duty tonight? Because I don't think it was me.
That was probably my job. It's usually my job. I'm sorry.
I gave that up around the time we had the whole rings incident. So
That's fair. Seeing you, well, first off, there is a distinct sensation that part of the table is like unraveling where you are biting it. There's like an unraveling sensation that then like kind of it's like building a jaw around your jaw.
it's so cool.
And as you bite down more firmly, it clenches, like it's biting back, but it's biting the thing that is biting it.
This is amazing. You guys should try this. I bite just a little bit harder.
It does too. And Callan, this entire time, at this point, he is a bit stunned. What? I'm sorry, sir. Would you release your teeth from the table, please? Words I never thought I
do
would have to
something
say.
like, this is the coolest table I've ever seen in my entire life.
I'm glad you like it.
Do you think it
Perhaps
can create boxes?
No.
I
No.
doubt it. I seriously doubt it.
No.
Just my hand. Just my hand.
Old person.
I think
What is that? A wisdom save?
DC 16 wisdom.
Oh, I rolled good, but not good enough. I got a 15.
almost.
Ooh, it was close.
it's like,
I'm just gonna go and pluck the hand axe out and put it back in your belt.
Perhaps room service for this. None of the other furniture hits back. I will just rid you of that notion now.
I'm standing there like this, like, how do you know that?
We have an army of well-trained nissers that can
Oh, what?
dab them. He just like shakes his head at Eden. that test to make sure as we bring furniture in, because we wouldn't want this one to feel a need to become defensive.
Don't want to threaten its
They test
territory.
all of the furniture? That is awesome job.
They
I'm a drop
are
hold
happy
person.
Yes, yes. So, to your rooms with this then.
Which this table?
It is not for sale.
I don't have any money anyway.
Maybe you can ask the queen, or no, the queen's mad at us.
The queen's mad at us? Is the queen mad at
I
us?
don't know.
I don't think so, actually. Like, she's bemused by you and a little confused, but I feel like a lot of people have that response to you.
Actually, I think I'm going to go spend a little bit of time in the workshop working on a particular project of mine a little bit more.
Ah, excellent. So you've made friends with our Smith?
Yes. Been quite helpful, in fact.
I'm gonna
He
look
is
at Thea and be like,
Is the, sorry, I'll wait until after. Sorry, I just had
oh, you're good.
inspiration.
I think I also need to go to the Smiths for a little bit.
I
But Eric's
So-
coming with me.
Yes, I was going to offer actually.
Yep.
He speaks up like, I'm fine with that. I'm happy to come with.
Thank you.
Has the mouth that was part of the table completely retracted yet?
It kind of it's pulled back, but it's
I
still
grabbed-
present.
I grab a bottle of whatever the closest alcohol I could get, and I pour it into the mouth to see if it'll drink it. Like, you're gonna really like this table.
It does take it in and immediately starts hiccuping.
The table starts hiccuping.
I, mean,
I rolled a nat one.
ethanol,
Something
right?
stupid had to happen.
All the dishes like
Yep, like everything on it's like.
I'm
Wait.
just literally swigging and like shit. We're just sharing a bottle. I love this table. This is literally my favorite table.
Paul, that's not what they mean by drinking under the table. You can't drink the table under the table. I'm sorry, it just doesn't work.
You don't know that? Have you ever tried?
I have a plan. Come on, Paul. I challenge you to a drinking contest. Let's go.
Excuse me. Oh dear.
Like you see Eric's eyes get really big. We're doing this. We're doing this.
I get down low to the table. It's like I will be back, and I pat the table.
I'm grabbing as many bottles as I can.
Pats you back. Huh?
I'm like scooping up all the bottles. Let's go.
Eric
Is
will
this table
help
a
you.
mimic?
So what?
The table's a mimic. They have a tamed mimic table.
It is now.
It
Thank
wasn't
you,
before,
Steven.
but it is now.
It was just super enchanted before, but it can still be enchanted to change sizes it need be. Yeah, it's still an enchanted table, but it's an enchanted table mimic. Yep. That's probably a
An
thing.
enchanted, multi-dimensional mimic that takes the shape of a table.
That is not the most nonsensical thing in this world.
That is
Like,
fair.
I made
Is
that
there
up
an eighth
today.
hand now on the watch?
What's
Is there an
Oh,
eighth hand on the watch now?
no, but this might be a distant cousin of one. I was not planning on it to be, but now it is, and I'm not sad about it. So, it's all good. Alrighty then. So you guys head back to your the kind of like multi-person rooms. I think you guys are staying with the delegation, right? Like in the same room?
Oh, I don't even remember.
Like in the rest of their
think we're in the
suite, because
same
they were going to
hallway.
use one room.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think we asked to be like in the same hallway with them.
Okay, gotcha. So yeah, they've kind of established like two different rooms. The delegation of Nembi, like the entire thing fits on one bed. So like they've actually they have put together all of these little individual spaces for them that just kind of sit on top of the bed and give them little dividers and things like that. And then like half the bed is still big enough that they can use it just as a gathering spot and little campsite.
They had to break out the magical 3D printer to print them little, hallways and rooms to
It's a
match
little
together.
maze.
Get their own privacy within the room.
Yep.
Yep. So it is like an attached suite. So they've got like kind of there are two beds in their room. So one is open for that, and then there's another one that has four separate beds that are about full size. Um, Maybe a little smaller than a full size mattress, but not as small as a twin. Um, so some space there, and then there's one more that has two beds in it. So you guys are kind of spread out in that hallway, all kind of like right adjacent to each other. Um, so you are able to go there uh, and be near enough to uh, the Nimish, that if you wanted to include them in your drinking contest, you could. I don't know if it's wise, but you could do it.
They might die.
Yeah, they'd be operating with like thimbles instead of glasses. Um, we're going to handle the forge in just a second. I need to take a real quick bathroom break, so sorry. I will be right back.
No worries.
Yeah, if you want to get his bottle going, I'll get him in his jammies, and maybe we can.
Good luck. Godspeed. Actually, I better go into the bathroom too.
And I am good when other people are now. Sorry about that.
We're just waiting on people to get back.
Just so you know, Keith, you are muted. I suspect that you know that, but just in case.
Reagan's just getting little man ready for his bottle.
That
And
is
to go
just
down.
fine. No worries.
So
Stomach just...
we'll have to put him down. So what I'll probably let her keep playing, and I'll probably put him down and go to sleep since it's almost 10 o'clock.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
But you can imagine Paul's just going to be drinking until he passes out.
So we might leave him passed out, and Eric
That would
can
probably be a wise decision.
kind of Eric can babysit, and Thea can get up to Thea business. That'll work.
Yeah. And Reagan just shouted that she has a plan for the drinking game with Paul. So apparently there is some sneaky strategy
Excellent.
in place.
Excellent, excellent. I am excited for this. We will see what she has to say about getting you slosh wasted.
I'll be excited to learn about it.
Should be an interesting time all the way around. Yeah, and keep me updated on what goes on with your stuff.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident I know what's going to happen. It's basically one of two things. Either we're going to sell the house as is and, just get out from under it, or over the next few months, I'm going to be working on repairs on the weekends until I get it to the point where we can finally get it sold and hopefully not be completely unbuilt.
Oh yeah, I got no. Where is it?
Are you just planning on moving, or
No, we had a pipe bust in our house that we own in Conway, and our insurance company sold us a product that was not what they told me it was when we bought it. So they're not paying anything out for the damages.
that sounds unfortunately familiar?
Yeah, it's basically dealing with insurance companies, and so I've got a buddy of mine who's an attorney. He's looking at the contract, and we're going to consider just, maybe taking them to court for the reality of saying, hey, look, like obviously the policy is what the policy is. He dropped that. But when I purchased this policy with the understanding that it was nothing that this policy ended up being. So the agent essentially misrepresented it. I don't think it's gonna do anything for us, but maybe they'll at least, just to not have to deal with any attorney stuff, maybe they'll just be like, well, screw it, we'll pay you out, a little bit more or whatever. So
Worth a shot.
doubtful, but again, I mean, at this point, like we don't have anything to lose, so like it's already lost. So like
Yeah. I'm so sorry.
Well, I'm just thankful that it's our second house. It's not our house that we live in, because right now that house has no insulation. It has half a wall on every wall. Like we couldn't live. We'd be homeless right now if that was our house.
right.
So at least it's just a secondary thing.
Yeah.
Hey, why are you so wiggly? I can't even get your pants buttoned.
Listen, I'll take care of this pants buckling whenever I get this ball done.
So since you're going to need to go to sleep soon, we can go ahead and wrap up the Paul thing first. That way, once you get going to bed and whatnot, you can do that, and we can kind of do with everybody else for a bit. All right. So, Thea, you and Eric managed to wrangle Paul back towards the rooms and whatnot. anytime it looks like you're going to lose a bottle, Eric snaps it up before you have a chance to actually drop it. So by the time you actually get back to the room, it's probably a pretty evenly distributed load. You can get settled in there. What is your drinking plan, my dear?
So I guess the bottles that I'm holding, I'm gonna cast Purify Food and Drink on.
Nice. Interesting.
That's what me and Eric will drink out.
Nice. Huh.
And the plan is just to get Paul to pass out. So we don't have to fight any more tables.
And Paul was just, scientifically curious.
That's amazing. I love that a lot. That's fabulous. Yeah, I don't know that most alcohol would necessarily need to be purified in that way. I don't know if it would necessarily work that
Technically,
way.
alcohol is a poison.
It says it purifies of poison.
Okay,
Is there
okay.
alcohol
You
poison?
know? And besides like rule of cool, I would still allow it and be like, well, I mean, if you want to remove the alcohol from this alcohol, you could do it. It is an interesting take. I assume you don't necessarily announce this to Eric, though.
No, I'll tell Eric. It's just not where Paul overhears.
You just have to like, okay, so this is gonna be what I do.
Yeah.
He,
If you want to drink, but drink out of Paul's stash, because this is the non-alcoholic section. These are mocktails.
he gives you a nod and a wink. Like, very well. And there will be times like he'll bounce back and forth in between the two. So he'll have like a couple of drinks, but for the most part, it's just from the purified stuff. That's freaking amazing. I love
Yeah,
that.
this might
so
win you
much.
some respect from Paul, actually.
So, when he gets back, we'll do some deception rolls and whatnot and see how that ends up being. So yeah, I'm gonna have you. Let's see. I will take deception or performance.
Okay. Let's go with deception.
And Eric is gonna do that too.
Oh, fuck.
Oh no!
That one.
Oh no!
For a total of 9, but
We'll see how his does.
yeah.
Oh, no. I mean, I'm not very perceptive, but still.
Yep. Unless that might be.
17. Hey, what are you doing over there?
I just really oversell it. I'm like, oh, it burns. Oh my god.
Eric looks over and he's drinking some of the purified stuff at this point, and it kind of looks over at you and like it's good whiskey. I'm enjoying the whiskey. It's not a flavor that I've completely had before. You can tell like he's trying to divert some of the attention. Like he rolled pretty well. But he keeps kind of cutting his eyes to you like, "Oh, what are you doing? Oh, that's that's it's not going to convince a hermit crab. I don't know." That's
Don't put that in there.
I think hearing some of the din, Imogen is actually gonna. You hear a tiny little like rapping on the door, and Imogen will be there, seeing that there is a drinking contest
Hey,
going
good
on.
night. Good night, everybody.
Yeah, buddy.
Y'all have a good night. No, I'm gonna put him down because I gotta go sleep soon.
Yeah.
You keep playing. That's why we're gonna have you drink under the table till
Oh.
Yep.
Paul passes out.
Okay.
Y'all have a fun game.
You too. You too. Wait. You know what I mean.
It's about
Good
to be
night.
Maybe not a game.
Yeah.
So So yeah, Imogen is going to join in this drinking game. She is going to absolutely lose. Um, but yeah, you've got. Let me see. Uh, yeah, like you don't fool him. Like he knows that you're up to something, but he's drinking, so I don't think he actually cares. Uh, in this
Probably
particular
that's on his,
case.
blah.
Yeah, so I don't think he actually is gonna care very much.
I mean, he's alcohol, yeah.
Yeah, he's got alcohol. He's a happy camper. Um, Eric will kind of drink right alongside you. Drink for the most part. Just have a drink or two of real stuff. Um, and then Imogen, whew, she's got her little her little thimble, um, and she has like a teeny tiny bit. She is drunk as a skunk. So by the time this is done, you've got a Paul like laying there snoring with like a mouse like draped on his chest, just out cold. Um, so that is how the drinking contest portion of this ends. Eric offers to stay and just keep watch to make sure that he doesn't roll over on top of Imogen and accidentally squash her, uh, and to make sure that everybody's got what they need.
What's the D&D equivalent of like a shoebox? Surely we can put her somewhere.
I mean, they would have like cigar boxes would exist in that space. They have boxes for their dried herbs and things like that. That would be kind of similar to like a cigar box, a wooden cigar box or something like that. So there are small boxes that would be probably pretty easily found.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, I'll get like a cigar box or something and like line it with some fabric or make her like a little bed. So that way if
yeah,
Paul
yeah,
rolls over in the middle of the night, we can just put her like on the coffee table.
awesome. Yeah, so you're able to do that without too much trouble. If you call somebody to ask them where to find these things, it's very easy. Um, would you just go kind of on a hunt for it, or would you ask for help?
Oh, I mean, I have some like extra clothes and stuff.
Well, that would work too. Like, yeah, that'd be fine. Just kind of build her a little nest on the table. It would have a little drawer actually, so you fit her in the drawer. Be a uh, little pull out. I don't know. I guess a mouse version of a um, one of the beds that's on the wall.
Murphy bed.
Oh, Murphy bed.
There you go. That's
Yeah.
the one. Um, yeah, mouse Murphy bed. So yeah, you're absolutely able to do that. No problem.
I'll rinse out her little thimble and fill it with water and put it next
Aw.
to her. And I'll put a glass of water next to Paul too.
You're a good friend, Thea. Um, yeah. Eric will look up like while you're getting all of that set. Like, you take very good care of your people.
I try to. I didn't always, so I try to be better.
Sometimes we have to learn the hard way what it is to treat people well. Fall on our faces and flounder a bit. I think that's a somewhat normal experience in life. But you've taken well to it now. Goodness knows I've seen you want to throttle him enough. It would be easy enough to just let him wallow in his own mess. But it's sweet how you care for them.
I guess somebody has to.
Well, consider yourself off duty.
How are you doing with everything? We haven't talked in a while.
Well, for the most part, I've been more tired than I would have imagined at this point. I've not needed the drugs like I thought that I would. the last couple of days. I think that I'm making improvements there, but if I'm honest, I'm struggling to feel rested. It's a difficult thing to put my finger on just why. And of course, we've had plenty of excitement, but I've worked in mines. I wouldn't imagine that would be this wearing on me. Maybe that's my age showing, I don't know. But he's not old.
I think I don't know how he ages, but I thought he was young.
Yeah, he's in his 20s. Like this is the kind of comment that would make Danny want to punch him in the face. But like not without a sense of irony. He laughs a bit at himself with this. But that's neither here nor there. I'm finding this interesting. I've been so many new places. I've been so limited in where I've been. Really only 2 continents that I've been able to explore very much at all. And even those relatively limited. So this is a grand adventure. I'm really quite grateful that you guys have been so willing to take me on. Thank you for that.
You've definitely come in handy.
I'm glad to serve. It's the least I can do. You've done so much for me.
We're just happy to help. I have some of that, the CBT. If you need some of the tea.
Stay up until everybody's kind of done with their comings and goings for the evening, just to make sure that this one, like, jerks his head over to Paul, just to make sure this one doesn't go about stabbing any furniture. But perhaps when everybody is back and beginning to settle for the night, I think that might be a good idea.
Never thought that would be a genuine concern that we would have.
I hadn't thought of that either. That's, to be fair, it's the first sentient table I've seen. I don't know exactly if it's sentient, but it's the first table that I have seen that has carved back when someone has carved on it.
I mean, it's a good idea in theory, but it's kind of creepy.
I am disturbed.
Yeah.
I won't lie. It is a little alarming and makes me question everything about my life choices before I sit down on any given piece of furniture.
Oh, I didn't even think about it.
Well, now you'll never not think about it. I am terribly sorry. He giggles. It's a cute giggle. But yes, I find the fact that this furniture can be sentient alarming. I've heard stories before, but usually they make themselves known as sentient much earlier and to much greater violence. So I don't know. Maybe if you befriend one of them, this is what happens.
I'm just trying to decide if I should draw this as a nightmare or if there's a way to make it kind of fun and maybe somebody can have a fun dream about a table.
Have you ever had the brain vomit dreams? Where it's not a nightmare and part of your brain thinks that it's funny, but the other part of your brain doesn't realize you're dreaming and there's some strange internal logic where you just go along with it, and even though it makes 0 sense whatsoever?
Mm-hmm.
That
That one?
That's what this is.
Okay.
Like, that way it's funny, it's still an uplifting thing, but you can tuck nightmarish things into that without it being a nightmare.
Be our guest. Be our guest.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. but kind of creepy, a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, I think that would be an excellent choice for this one.
start pulling out my book and start jotting some notes down.
Excellent. We'll take off to the forge and we'll come back to you to see if there are some other fun shenanigans that you would like to get into this evening. So, fellas, heading to the Obsidian Forge
Yep.
next to the castle. What are you up to?
Well, I'm going to go back to tinkering with my my mechs and trying to put them into a little bit further down the line of production, because I want to get that done before our visit and our business here is done, clearly. Although I may also look with a little bit of curiosity at what brings
Eden?
Eden to the forge this evening as well.
All right.
I mean, Eden's there just to meet with Zillow's brother,
Yeah, and Scylla would
if
follow
he's
you
there.
guys. Yeah. Knowing that he might show up, she'll be joining with you guys. So when you get there, Wayland is actually there with a handful of other people who are all like he's got a thing of what you would probably perceive to be something similar to champagne. And they've got steins out and are talking loudly here. One of them is in fact a red tiefling. And there is quite a bit of like raucous conversation. You gather that they've probably been here like chatting for a while. And two of them, like one of them being the red tiefling, are having something akin to a okay, sorry.
You all right?
Yeah, I lost where my brain was. Sorry, I'm okay.
Red
Are they having
tiefling.
like a
What was that? Sorry.
Red tiefling.
Okay. There was a red tiefling and something akin to a merman that are apparently having like a contest at the forge. So they're just like hammering away, having a good time of it, like teasing each other as they go. And because of that, they don't look up as you guys are walking up to the forge. So that is that's kind of what you come in on and see. Your mech suits, what progress you have already made. You're you don't have the cart with you, right? Like you're doing this at the forge.
Yes, I'm doing it at the forge because I was not able to bring the cart into the palace.
Okay.
this? Oh, different set of headset. This one isn't at the palace though, correct? This is not like in the palace proper.
This is like in the fortified grounds around the palace. It is not in the palace proper. He would have left the cart, I think, on the outside of the fortification gates.
Yes.
Like now that they know him, they would probably be okay with it coming in. But
But I haven't
that
had a
is
chance
kind
to go back to get it, so
yeah.
I've got stuff spread out on a workbench, blueprints and plans and bits and bobs and pieces, and the start of the five little mechs. So at this point, there's no point to go getting the cart.
Yeah.
I've got what I need here with me.
So they've got like all of your little stuff that you've already started is lined out and being kind of examined by the ones that aren't currently competing, and Wayland's like talking you up some. So that's what you guys come in on, is this competition and like Wayland kind of talking a lot about how how this idea has kind of come up and how you're developing the armor. So yeah.
Eden will just stay out of the way. I don't know if Scylla's gonna go up, but Eden will just stay out of the way of everybody.
Okay.
He'll dump bardic inspirations into whatever Tefn is doing. Meantime, he'll just pluck idly at some strings.
Cool. Scylla does get really, really excited when she sees the tiefling, but sees that he's like right in the middle of something and kind of stands with like a sassy smile to the side, kind of waiting so that she can harass him when the time is right to harass him. So she's waiting for that, and Waylon, seeing you, like turns around. Oh, that's the lad! That's the lad, guys! This man's the one. What does all of this good? Tiny little, like,
So
picks up one of the armor bits.
so I will, it's like as I recognize that he's talking about me, I'm standing there with my teeny tiny little tools in my hand and look up and be like, "Oh, hi guys," and then just go back to work.
Tools! Look at the tools! I've never seen a hammer this tiny. Like, kind of puts things back down. Like all of them are kind of ooh and ah. There are 4 of these guys at this point that are kind of gathered around everything. Not well, yeah, counting the 2 that are competing, and it looks like they are building. They are having a competition to see who can build the coolest dagger, who can make the coolest dagger. So they have their own little forged in fire thing going on right now.
I've seen many of those sorts of competitions at all the forges that I've kind of passed through in my time. I know exactly what's going on.
Yep. They are also a bit inebriated, which might normally make it a little bit on the dangerous side, but they're
Of
just having
course.
a really good time.
But that
with
makes it
so
more fun.
Yeah, naturally. Yeah, there's nothing like booze and, molten metal. There's no way this could go wrong. Uh, what could possibly happen? So when Waylon starts acknowledging y'all's presence and whatnot, the red tiefling kind of looks up for just a second to see what's going on, and then you can tell like it doesn't immediately register. And then like on one of the hammer strokes, he's like, Sila? Giuseppe? And like she looks so put out artificially that she's been standing there and hasn't been noticed. And all of the sudden he just like flings what he's working on to the ground and runs over and like gives her a big like bear hug, lifts her off the ground.
Aw.
And kind of spins her around a little bit and like, oh, why are you here? What is this? What has brought you this far? And she kind of like grins over at Eden. I I might have met a special someone, and
Special's a stretch.
I don't think so. And she kind of gestures over to you, and he like keeps one arm around her. He's a big guy. Keeps one arm around her, still lifting her up, and like turns to you. Special guy. Kind of sets her down.
The false bravado of a brother. I've been there. Don't worry. You don't need to. You don't need affect with me.
Who says it is false?
I'm not saying that it is false specifically, but it is definitely an affect that is unnecessary here.
Hey
What are you
Eden.
in?
Hey Eden, the guy knows how to make daggers. I'd be nice if I were you.
I'm not right to be mean.
What are your intentions with my sister?
That's a great question. We've talked about buying a ship. We've talked about a lot of things. It depends on what you're asking specifically. Are you talking like tonight, or are you talking in general?
His eyebrows go up. It's like,
You asked, I
oh,
answered.
I meant, do you mean to treat her well?
Of course,
Does he
she
treat you
deserves
well?
no less.
He looks over at her. Does he treat you well? Very much so. Stop being mean. You're not mean. You do not wear it well. It is not convincing. He didn't even believe it before. But you look thin. You look weaker than you did last time I saw you.
Well, we did die that one time.
You killed my sister.
Fair to die. No. Uh, I would never.
You got my sister killed.
I mean, it was a brain thing.
Could be worse. He could have gotten her something else.
Is that worse?
My goodness.
You're gonna get me in a lot of trouble, Teflon.
I'm just pushing you that direction. You're already in trouble, bud.
I see.
So, we make one thing clear. You get my sister killed, I come for you. If you are dead too, I will find a way to resurrect you, and I will
I-
take you apart, one
Can
piece
I
at a time.
make a suggestion? Before you bother with resurrecting me, make sure you get her back first.
Well, of course. I mean, you seem like an interesting man, but I am not as attached to you as I am to her.
That's fair.
But I am still going to resurrect you and tear you apart limb from limb if you get her killed.
I will do my absolute best not to.
Mm.
Which
Good.
might mean we have to have a discussion tonight.
Excuse me?
Because we are walking into danger, but that's perhaps a discussion for later.
Huh. You and me? We
Sure.
talk later?
I would be happy to.
He like keeps this really piercing eye contact and grabs a glass and fills it with ale and just puts it in your hand.
For,
Very forcefully.
for what it's worth, he's not walking into danger alone.
You used to travel with sailors that were just, normal people. You went about trading things. Why is this life not for you anymore? I met someone that I liked, and I had a hole in the boat that needed to be fixed, and I had some time, and I had some interests, and I decided to follow them. You don't get to tell me what to do. I am your brother. I absolutely get to tell you what to do. Does not mean you listen. So there's like this banter that happens back and forth for a bit. That's like it's kind of hard to tell how serious it is. There's definitely some lightheartedness to it and some like jabbing and whatnot, but it's kind of
And
hard to tell.
subtext.
Yeah, yeah. Like he turns back to you at some point. Well, you have not passed my test yet, and you are required to pass my test if you are going to continue on with my sister. She just kind of is standing behind him and goes,
I am confident that I can pass test.
"Excellent. You had better, or else you die." He just kind of turns back
Again.
to think, now, if you will pardon me, I have to finish making a knife that would show this man up, because I told him that I would, and now I have to do so. So,
Hmm.
if you would like, we drink, and then we will be visiting tonight. We will be visiting a lot tonight. because I don't want to leave you alone with her tonight. She just keeps shaking her head.
So just out of curiosity, the knife that he like flipped off onto the floor, how is he doing compared to his competitor right now?
They both are very good. Like, you can tell that they are both very well equipped for this task. I mean, right now the competitor is pulling ahead some because he just took a break to rag his sister. So the other guy is doing moderately better just because he's farther along. They are it's real hard to tell who's gonna win this here match.
So Tefn wants to level the playing field a little bit, so I'm going to cast invisibility on the other guy's knife.
So he's hammering away, turns to like find something so that he can start working on like a handle piece or something like that. And as he turns back, there is no knife. Jessup? Did you take my knife? Did you take my knife? Like, what did you do with it? And it starts this bickering between the two. You gather that they've probably worked together before on things. So there's this back and forth, like, I didn't touch it. I was chastising
So
her
I'm
because
just
she...
so I'm just going to sort of keep in my head the time, and as much time as he was away, as you know, the tiefling was away from his anvil. I'm going to keep the knife invisible, and once the same amount of time has elapsed, I'm going to drop invisibility, and there it is. just to keep the playing field level.
I didn't see a thing.
Wait, what did you... Who did... Which of you did that? Which of you is a cheater? Which of you is a cheater?
Eden is just gonna like pluck a couple of strings.
Seems to me that from where I'm standing, you were taking some time that your competitor wasn't.
And whose fault was that?
Yeah,
My
I'm just
sister didn't
saying.
show up. Like, he didn't have to stop. I did not tell him he had to stop. I'm just saying. Wayland is like guffawing off in the corner. He's just really enjoying watching all of this. It's like he's watching a really ridiculous sitcom right now. He's just kind of in the corner with his ale, and you hear this like, just like this bubbling, rolling laughter happening as he's watching all of this. And some of the smiths that aren't active in this competition come over to see how the mouse armor is going. Roll me the tinker tool or whatever your best engineering checks are going to be.
Well,
Is it
I mean,
bardic
I
inspiration?
have my pick, but they are all the same. I do have on my sheet. I've got an inspiration. I don't remember when I picked that up. I imagine I picked it up last session, but I won't use that. But I do have the bardic inspiration from Eden, and what is that? That is a
D8.
That's a D8. So, oh goodness, it's a 17. My D20 was not a great roll, but it's a 17, so it's not bad.
I feel bad.
You are muted, dear.
I think I just like ran into the side of the table with my little button thing.
Yep.
Yeah, so you're able to make some decent little headway there with your mech suits. Remind me how many you've got going? Like, was it
I think it was
you
5.
started off? Yeah, I thought it was 5. So you're making more progress. It'll probably take you like maybe another, since you're not working on it consistently, probably like another 2 days worth of work to be done. With
Do
now
I
they
think
it might not be as high powered as you you think you might be able to eventually get them, but they will be functional in another couple days' work if you're able to devote some decent time to them.
Do I think we've still got 2 days worth of time at the palace? Is the
I
real
mean, you would at
question.
least have tomorrow if you
Okay.
guys are gonna be with your weave walker in the afternoon.
Okay.
And I would imagine you would probably rest before you would just depart the next day. So you'd at least have one more day of work. It would be functional armor. I'm not sure that it would do quite the same stuff that you would want it to if you had more time.
Okay.
But
I'll play
you
that
would
by ear,
probably
but
have,
I've got a
yeah,
couple more rolls on it then.
yeah.
But I'll get to a good stopping point and sort of start cleaning things up and organizing things. Obviously, I'm not taking the parts with me. I need to leave them sort of left out, organized. But I'm taking careful inventory to make sure that everything is where make sure I know where everything is and can come back, first thing in the morning.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, so you're able to do that much. The competition goes on between the other two, and alas, poor Jessup, he ends up being distracted enough by the other stuff that is going on that he ends up not winning. It's still a good effort, but the other guy rolled a nat 20. So
Ah.
like it's a beautiful knife. It's a beautiful knife. Um so yeah, you look like you're about to say something, Steven. Go for it.
No,
Oh, okay.
just watching.
Um
I feel bad, but
yeah,
not entirely my fault.
no, he got definitely distracted by your presence and has tried to like there's this balancing act between being genuinely kind of perturbed that he hasn't heard from his sister for a bit, and then she shows up with this guy that he doesn't know about and all of that, but also like this want to like rag on you like you've been a part of the family for years, and just wanting to mess with her. And there's this performance anxiety now that there wasn't before because it was just like forge buddies a second ago, and now all of a sudden there are these people that he doesn't know. It's a weird dynamic in his head. It throws his game off a little bit. So his dagger is beautiful, but nothing compared to the nat 20 of the other guy. It's just like shit. See, you threw off my game. It
We're
was
off the Emperor's Grove.
Beware the groove.
Pull
Oops,
the
sorry, don't worry
lever,
about it.
crunk.
Ugh. Now I'm frustrated. Look, you see me. I am frustrated, and I do not know what I am supposed to do other than go to the tavern and get drunk.
Well, I think that you have other pressing matters before that. You don't want to be drunk when you have an interview.
That is true. Damn it, why are you right? I
Ah,
don't
it's
like it when you are right.
a common malady of mine.
Ah, I dare say we are going to get along terribly.
Well, delightfully. It probably will depend on exactly when.
Your logic bothers me because it makes too much sense.
You poor thing. You have my pity.
All right. Where do we do
Would
this
you like
interview?
to? We have room at the palace if you would like to join us there.
You have room at the palace if you would. I see. Have to show off your royal connections. Eh.
Less connections. I mean, we're there asking favors, so you know.
Ah, I see. Ride on the coattails of royalty.
I mean, technically, I think we are with the royal delegation of the NIMBY.
Oh, the things you make this for. He reaches over just unceremoniously and picks up one of the suits of armor.
And I'll take it back from him and lay it back out neatly.
Sorry, friend.
Indeed, they are some of the most delightful people I have ever met.
So I interview you, and I get drunk with them.
Just, be careful. I know the princess has a lot of negotiations in the morning. So don't get her too drunk. But other than that, I suppose they would all enjoy it. And I think the advisor could definitely use some loosening up.
Fine. So, to the palace for your interview.
If you would like some more or less intimidating, we could probably go back to the wagon that we travel on, if that's okay with Tevin. Up to you, however.
Yeah, it's going to be a little tight unless I put the wall down.
Oh, I don't think tight is a problem. We could probably even sit on the board if that's what you would like. But either is fine with me.
You think I would be intimidated to the castle?
Less intimidated. In fact, I think I've heard stories that you. Dang it. The thing that comes to mind is rub toes, but that's not the right way to say that.
Did you just say rub toast?
Toes.
Oh!
That's
I was
not
like,
that's not what I want to
what?
say. But you are familiar with the comings and goings of the palace people.
So Tevin is just over there pointing at his elbow.
Oh yes, elbows. Rub elbows. Thank you, Devin.
I have my own connections.
Yes, it is actually, I think, because of you that you know something of my patron, my god. That is
You're
also a topic I would love to discuss with you.
very well. We can go to the castle. I am familiar enough. It is comfortable there. We can make ourselves
I suspect there's
cozy.
already a surplus of alcohol in the room.
Perfect. So,
For better or for worse, I suspect it's there.
and this entire time, Wayland has just been like watching all of this unfold, and every time he tries to be super serious with you and whatnot, even if he's being reasonably successful, holding his own demeanor, Wayland is laughing in the background, and it kind of cuts the effect a bit. So like you can tell, if nothing else, by the reactions of Wayland and his sister, and actually the other people at the forge too. Like you can tell that this is like absolutely it's put on. Like there might be some genuine little like hurt feelings here and there a little bit, but like for the most
Yeah,
part,
wanting to protect your sister and stuff.
yeah. At this point, it's entertainment. Uh, like he's just messing with you to mess with you. And whether or not you see that and find it amusing, or it's actually working and he's messing with you, it's like I don't think he cares which one of those is true.
That's fair.
As long as he is messing with you, he's happy about it.
And he's happy to give it right back.
Good. Good. So he'll like gesture with his head to the castle and do the like big bear looking thing. Just kind of like pick his sister up in a one arm hug and like, you get to come too. You watch his torture. And just kind of pulls her along.
Lead the way, good sir.
Just kind of she sighs, kind of like she is much smaller than him. So it's almost like her feet she just kind of lets dangle And you can tell that this is not the first time. Well, it might be the first time this has happened in this context. You can kind of tell that this is like leftovers from childhood. She's got like one elbow on his shoulder and is like resting her head there, and it's like as you like follow him back into the castle.
And he'll know his way around better than I will, so he's happy to follow.
Yep. He'll look over at you guys. In the room you stay in, or a different space?
I don't know that we're supposed to be in any other spaces, so probably there.
When you say probably there, oh, your room. Okay, fine. That's no fun. But he drags you over to.
Maybe you are more familiar with the palace staff, but we are already asking them favors. So
That's fair. That's fair. So Thea, you're immediately inundated. Like you're writing your dreams and all of this. They're coming out very well. And actually, Eric will during this this exchange, like he'll ask if you would be comfortable with him reading them as you finish them, because he just thinks that your job must be a really beautiful job. So he'll kind of, when you're finished with one, read through it, and he kind of the way he reads looks very intentional. There's a deep mindfulness about it. And while you write the next part of whatever you're on, you can kind of tell that he is working his way through what he just read in his brain, kind of imagining different things and contextualizing it differently. So he's able to do that. And just, it seems like he's genuinely just enjoying what you have done with your talents, and is taking the time to appreciate it. Yeah, it's like there's a deep intentionality about his practices that are like, it makes you feel very, very important, and he will tell you that as much. Like at the end of each little section, like I understand why this has become your job. This is an excellent calling for you to undertake. It's wonderful work. And like at the end of one of yours, this motley crew of Scylla tucked under the arm of a much larger red tiefling who does have some similar facial features and whatnot. It is identifiable that they are siblings, but they are siblings in the way that me and my brother are siblings, where you cannot tell we are siblings unless you look really closely at our noses. So
watch
like
to interact.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that and watching interactions. Like they look enough alike that if you know they're siblings, you can find evidence, but you're not going to see it very clearly. So they walk in, followed by Eden and Teffin, and so you have these peoples, and then you have drunk dwarf and small people.
Yep. I would hesitate to say that we have the small people, and more that the small people have us.
Are they witnessing your interview and death?
They're welcome to. And we could also, find a quieter corner if anybody prefers that. As long as Paul doesn't wake up, I don't actually care.
Paul
Yeah, he's not waking up anytime soon.
Probably not. That's a good thing, I think.
Eric looks over and is just like, he's very, very drunk.
I outdrank him.
What was that?
I said I outdrank him.
She did. It was remarkably impressive. I was there for the entire thing. It was. She is.
I'm not sure I've ever seen anyone outdrink Paul. Well done.
You missed it.
I'd like to investigate her mug, please.
Go for it.
I won't question. I am just impressed.
As well you should be, Eric says.
That's a 21.
That shit's water.
Teffin knows exactly what happened and is not saying a word.
Nope.
Yeah, Eden doesn't actually care that much. He's just willing to be impressed.
That is fine. Yep. he'll- so Scylla's brother will kind of like look through the room. Do you all wish to bear witness to his interrogation and eventual inevitable murder?
Well, see, now, murder is going to be a problem for me, but,
Yeah.
you know, you can have the interrogation bit.
Are you that attached?
We'll allow
He's kind
a
of grown
slight
on me.
Like a tumor.
I was going to say fungus, but yeah.
I think I prefer tumor than fungus. Tumors usually don't smell.
Yes,
First test.
but mushrooms are good in stew.
That's true.
First test. The people you travel with are hesitant to kill you. That speaks better
Hesitant,
for
but
you
not
than I wish.
entirely unwilling.
It has been noted, but the fact that they did not immediately say yes to the murder is unfortunately something that I must consider in your eventual judgment.
Fair enough. Well, I am an open book, as they say.
Well, for the Teffin's sake, we can take this elsewhere then, so as to not disturb the rest of the room or the small sleeping man with the smaller sleeping woman on top of him. That sounded more erotic than it looks.
considering
It's
the
not an
size difference.
uncommon thing.
I don't think that would work out.
No, not at all.
No. No, 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 no. Yes. No. Banish that mental image here.
Yeah, yeah. That's a level of furrydom. Like I don't need the furrydom in my brain anyway. That's a level of furrydom that I really just don't ever want to. I don't want it to ever be present enough to need to brain bleach. Ugh. Yeah. That's an unpleasant thought. So yeah, he
There's magical solutions to these problems, but I don't want to get into it.
like
Ugh.
he'll
Ugh.
he'll look over at you and be like, I don't want to know why you know that, but I am going to be interrogating you, so I think that
Oh,
I
I've
have to
seen
know why
some
you know
things.
that.
I have
Like
seen
Alice in
some
Wonderland, the little drink me potion.
things. Enlarge, reduce.
I mean, those things do exist here, so it is not out of the question. It's just still gross.
And
He,
of all the reasons to use it.
right? Like I've seen it used in other ways, and that's fine.
Such as
This not
storing
so
people
much.
in bottles,
That has
jars.
happened. That has happened. Yes. Yeah, yeah. As the conversation gets odder, he just kind of points to the adjoining room, like, we talk there.
Please, please, anything to get me out of this particular conversation.
He'll take you in there, and we can run that conversation off screen. But yes,
Eden,
he will go.
if you need anything, just knock on the wall 3 times.
Duly noted. I hope I will not. It would be really unfortunate. But I appreciate it.
Don't worry, I will not kill him in front of Scylla, so I shall release Scylla if I intend to murder him.
Right, so if I see
Watch
Scylla
for
and
Scylla.
hear him knocking on the wall 3 times, I'm coming in.
That is reasonable. So you'll drag Eden in the other room and start questioning him. So yeah, Thea and Teffin, it's the evening. Is there anything specific that you would like to do before you bed down?
No, I think I've pretty much done everything that I needed to do for the night, so I guess I will excuse myself to wherever I can find a bucket or a bucket-like device, even if I have to go.
Bucket-like device.
That's a sentence.
We've had some good sentences tonight. There have been several around the table that I never thought that I would hear.
Shable punches you back. Excuse me.
That is not an encounter I imagined happening, but I'm delighted that it did. Uh, that's fabulous. Yeah, is there anything in particular that you'd like to explore or anything like that inside or outside of the castle?
I don't think so. Just from trying to remember back from last game, um, I had talked to CU's mom about she wanted to introduce Eden to somebody. Did I talk to Eden about that?
Nope,
You
not yet.
haven't
No, I
yet.
hadn't talked to you
Yeah.
about that yet. Okay. I guess I'll just try to catch you in the morning, unless we can say I caught you when you first came in.
Or after I left, after our guest leaves.
Yeah, and at some point he will. We can cover like how that conversation goes later, but at some point like he will leave. I'm assuming probably in reasonable spirits. If not, I can retcon the spirits he was in when he left. But uh, but yeah, he leaves at some point, and you guys have kind of the spaces to yourself for the evening. So you have a chance to catch him up on that if you will.
Okay,
Do you remember what that was about? Oh, actually, I think she was kind of cagey about it. Now that I think about it.
Yeah. All I have is that you just remind her of another tiefling that she knows and that she
Gotcha.
would like to introduce the two of you, and that we're supposed to meet at a tavern for lunch tomorrow.
Right.
Got any lunch plans?
No, other than I need to prepare to help our wave walker friend, but I suppose that's easiest to do in the morning.
Simu's mom wants to introduce you to another tiefling. I don't. She really wouldn't say what about, but if
Okay.
y'all are
I mean,
okay with grabbing lunch tomorrow, we can maybe make a new friend.
Certainly.
Okay.
If we get there a little bit early, maybe I can get our lunch paid for.
Do you like a free lunch?
Do like a free lunch, don't we all?
There is no such thing as a free lunch.
I guess it's all a matter of perspective.
Right. Yeah, I don't have any problem with that. So we do you have a time? Like, we're talking noon?
Yeah, I'm assuming so.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
usually
maybe
when
we
people
head
eat
over at
lunch.
like maybe half an hour until.
Sounds perfect.
Right. Well, then if that's it, then I suppose I will go to bed.
Are you staying in the same room with Paul? No, you would probably be off with Scylla and Eric. Gotcha. Although Eric will actually offer if you want to not have to be on Paul duty, Thea, he'll offer to sit with Paul just to make sure that everything goes smoothly so that you don't end up having to Paul sit.
Alternatively, I could just drag him by the boot into the room that I'm going to stay in.
I said, what's our room situation? Is there a place we could put him?
I mean, there are several options for places that you could put him. Like currently, he is in one of the beds that is available anyway. And these are really nice rooms, but they are made for like what you would imagine, like dignitaries' families, stuff like that. So there are multiple beds. So like there was the one with 2, there's one with 4, and then the one with the delegation has an extra bed as well. So
I could probably shove him under my bed pretty easily.
If as long as snoring doesn't bother you.
I've traveled with Paul a long time.
Fair enough. Should we put what's her name? Should we kind of put her back with her people, or do you think she's okay? It's like in her little box on the table.
Fair question. I don't know.
she's making the cutest little squeaky snores.
I think she's probably okay. Like they know where she is.
Yeah. If they need her, they can find her.
Yeah. Okay.
You said Daisy.
All right, so you're able to do
Isabel,
that.
was that her name?
Imogen.
Imogen.
Yeah.
It keeps.
Thing keeps. Imogen Heaps. Yeah, so you're able to get everybody kind of situated for the night and whatnot. Do you request a bucket, Teffin?
If there's not one, I'll just go once everyone's done for the night, I'll go get in the tub.
There's a very nice tub. So yeah, you're able to just tub it. That works. So yeah, you guys are all down for the night and able to get a good night's rest in for the most part. So morning comes, you're kind of you end up waking to the smells before you actually have very much other input. It's very clear that there is something being cooked for breakfast. So yeah,
Paul will
the
be
morning
excited.
is yours. Yeah, the morning is yours. To do with as you will. If you need to do any exploring through town or anything like that, you are able to.
First thing, I'm headed back to the Obsidian Forge to work on the mechs a little bit more.
All right, so Teffin is forging it. Thea, are there specific things that you want to get up to?
I don't think there's anything that like I need to do. I can tag along with somebody or just go take a walk around and just explore.
Is there any prep work that we should be doing for the ritual? That's the only thing I would be doing.
So if you were to ask Esteele, he would have informed you that there is a ritual room in the palace that could be prepared for the space with an incense cleansing and light cleansing with candles. And there are a few specific items that would be useful to have handy, just to kind of help strengthen the awareness of your connection to the weave. So he would have you probably like there is
Collect
a
things.
what's that?
Things that we would need to go collect.
Yeah, he would have you collect a few things as well as take the time at some point to all attune anybody who is going to be adding their own magic to the ritual. He would have you guys attuned to the stone. It is a ritual stone that actually it is built for this kind of purpose. I mean, not specifically weave walking, but for ritual support.
Rituals, right?
So it is capable of being attuned to by multiple people. So he would have you take time to attune to that once the space was set and cleared. So
Cool.
other than that, no. So those are the big things that you could do in preparation. And that would be the big thing. He would probably tell you that over breakfast. I imagine you guys would probably eat before you went out doing anything else.
Yeah. I can go do fetch quest stuff.
Yeah. So he and Demira have actually cooked together. It's an odd thing to have this like ambassador in the kitchen, doing things that you would imagine would largely probably be done by servants. But he has cooked breakfast with Demira, and it is this like smorgasbord of like fruit and like it's grilled fruits with different custards and like sweet and savory pastries and like different kinds of um, like eggs that you can't identify what they came from, things to that effect. Um, Shockingly, no bacon. Paul might be very sad about this, but there are some morning teas that are actually really, really good, that have been brewed kind of as almost like a coffee sort of a thing, but it tastes a lot less bitter. Um, Different roots and things like that that have kind of that sweet, spicy flavor that warms you from the inside. So
Sort of
they've done
ginger esque.
yeah, some like ginger, kind of ginger chai vibes, and things to that effect. Um, that they've prepared almost like a Thai hot teas.
Mm.
Um, so some creams and things like that going into it. So delicious spread. If Paul is conscious and joins you, he's probably just like he would be very confused as to whether to be being bashful about Demira or to bite the table. So
Yeah.
it's a strange combination of problems, I guess. Uh,
That's a very Paul combination of
this
problems.
is a very Paul combination of problems. Um, and you can kind of tell now that Demira is aware of this. She has no idea what to do with it. Um, like she wants to be very nice to him because she's being very nice to her, but she's not trying to lead him on or anything, and it's very clear that she is conflicted in how to behave around him. Um, so that's almost making her as awkward as him, just in a different way.
Impressive.
Yeah. Yeah. Only around him. Like with the rest of you, it's very easygoing. She's just very. She has no idea how to process this. This is a strange. Like, this level of weird and the way it is expressed. Like, she's used to people being weird around her. This type is new.
He
So,
gets that reaction a lot, I think.
I feel like mini Paul experiences are new to most people. So,
Definitely
yeah.
new to tables.
Yep. Yeah. That table has never been randomly attacked by anybody there. So the table is equally as confused as everybody else by Paul. That is not an experience that it was expecting either.
It's not just a Tuesday.
Nope. Yeah, so Estiel would explain all of this over breakfast. And if there are other specific questions that you have about the process or anything like that, you're welcome to ask.
I think so.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, so other than that, if you wanted to check anything out, you could before lunch, or if you wanted to just kind of like say that you've been strolling through town and looking at things as a tourist, you can, whatever you would like to do.
I'm just gonna do our fetch quests and go get the stuff we need, but
All right. Thea, you're going with?
Yeah.
Okay. So you it is easy enough to get the incenses and things like that. The stone is something Estiel already has. Um, so you are able to get the incense pretty easily. There is a shop that has magical adjacent goods not too terribly far from the castle in this like huge hollowed tree that is. There are shelves that are probably about like 3 stories high. They get more spaced out the higher you go, so you gather that probably the first 15 feet is where the stuff that is most common has to get pulled from. Um, the shop's name is George's, and it's there is currently a young man behind the counter um, who greets you as you come in, just gives you a big friendly nod. He's got like kind of long curly brown hair just tied back in his in a ponytail, and he's just um, kind of taking inventory on a bunch of different like potions and things like that that he's just gotten in. Hello, how can I help you? Are you looking for anything specific?
George, I presume.
Oh, no, no. George is the owner. He is not currently here with us. Um, but
Understood.
yes, I'm a relative. Um,
Pleasure.
yes, I'm
Um,
Tom, by the way.
Tom, Eden. So we are looking for some specific incenses and things for a ritual.
Yeah, we can do that. The types of I assume that you have somewhere the types of incenses, and he would have given you that. Yes, we can absolutely find you these. All right, and he kind of takes one of those big library ladders out, and kind of
I love
starts
those
sliding.
things.
I know. I want an excuse to have one so badly.
Mhm.
Honestly, if we turn that upstairs like vaulted ceiling thing, if we turn that whole back wall into a library, we would have a justification for having one. Um, Note that, Keith. No. I love you.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe we're not having a library upstairs.
Okay, but Keith, just imagine how happy it. Oh, apparently Google thought I was talking to it. Imagine how happy it would make you to have your wife like do the Beauty and the Beast like slide across the library on that.
See, the problem is, I know what that face is. That face is. You really think it would go that smoothly for my wife?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, his wife would fall off the ladder at the end of that. It would be delightful for about 2 seconds, and somehow or another, I would fall off and it would end in disaster.
Yeah.
Listen, that ladder is every girl's dream.
You will
You've watched
note
Beauty and the Beast when you're a
that
kid.
I am a smart man and have not said a word.
Your face said
You are in
everything.
fact a smart man.
Oh. Yes, but you're right. That is every girl's dream. Like, at least most of the ones that I prefer to hang out with, they are. Yeah, the love of books is real, and the desperation to have a library ladder, have enough of the books that you want to read to justify a library
Mhm.
ladder. Uh, uh,
Justify it. Who needs to justify it?
I mean, he's not wrong. You just have
that's
one,
that
but
is
Right.
true. It
it wouldn't
loses
be as
something
like
when there's not a
aesthetically
need.
pleasing if you just have like
Yeah.
big empty bookshelves. You got to
That's
fill them
true.
up.
That's true.
Yeah. And if your bookshelves don't actually require a ladder, then you're just being like
That's true. That's
extra.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
One
Anyway,
day, one day,
yeah,
one
yep,
day, our ladder will come.
yes, agreed. Um, but yes, like he's doing the bell slide across like all these potions and trinkets and weird little like kind of oh, what do they call it? The motion that doesn't end. I'm very tired. Perpetual motion machines and stuff like that. Uh, just sliding through there and finding you the tidbits that you are getting. Um, They sell bicycles here. That's a thing. That's in one corner.
And we've
There's
seen those once before already, yeah.
yes, yeah. You saw some of those in Billy's store early on. Um, there are a lot of little gadgets and things to that effect in here. But yeah, that whole back wall is more oriented towards potions and scrolls and all of that stuff. He is able to get your incense very, very easily. And crawls back down. Like, oh, all right, this is easy enough thing to come by. So let's see, 5 gold for the incense, and then another 3 for the ritual candles, and you're all set as far as that goes. So
8
unless you're
gold?
looking for, yeah, unless you're looking for anything else specific, I think that has you set.
I've got
Um,
2 gold pieces.
yeah, I have 2 now, actually, after this purchase. Where did my pencil go?
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, you guys cleaned house on in the last place you were.
Well, use 2 of my gold pieces.
No, this is all right. As soon as I find a place to perform, I'm sure I can make it back without a problem.
That is true. I forget you're kind of wickedly crazy about that. That's a
That is
good
sort of
thing to
his
be.
thing. It's important for Eden to be that way because of his lifestyle.
That is true. You are an opulent person. It is a thing. That is a handy skill to have. Also, very convenient since the things that you are doing for the most part have not been bringing in an income. Gotta have a way to replenish somehow. Yeah, so you're able to get what you need. And Tom will give you the handful of stuff in a little brown bag, and he'll take a little wooden coin and put it in there that has like the shop logo on it, and on the back it just has a big list of some of the things that they specialize in.
Secrets.
Yeah, there is actually it as a part of the things that they have on the back there. There is one whole chunk that looks like just little pieces of paper tucked into. If you've ever seen the what is carpenter bee houses where they've just got the little tubes all over the place,
Oh yeah,
honeycomb tubes. Yeah, it's like this big square that's full of these little tubes, and they all have like little pieces of paper um in them, and just like there's a little line above it that's carved that just says trade secrets. uh and
and the last time that the campaign happened through here, we didn't have money to buy the things that we were trying to buy, and one of the players convinced him that he should trade in secrets.
yep.
Um,
Yep. So that started a whole thing, and now they actually do. So yeah, there's a wall of secrets back there, um, that's behind lock and key glass. Yep.
Done,
So
Lance.
amazing.
yep. Um, so yes, if there's ever anything else that I can get for you, don't hesitate to ask. If there's something that you need specially made or anything to that effect, as long as you're willing to be flexible on your timeline, we have excellent inventors that are partners with us that can assist you with what you need.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Wonderful. It was very, very nice to meet you. How long are you in town? I notice you're not locals.
At least until tomorrow. After that, I'm not so sure.
Well, I hope that you have a lovely stay here. It's a wonderful place.
So it seems.
Excellent. Well, you all have a wonderful day, and hopefully you'll be coming in again. We'll get to see you again.
Thank you very much. Have a good day, sir. Sir
He
Tom.
goes, yes. He goes back to sorting through his things. and taking inventory and whatnot. Anything else that you are checking out before lunchtime?
Nothing for me.
No?
Anything
Alright.
for you, Thea?
No, I think I'm good. I think I'm stocked up on stuff for once.
In that case, perhaps we should find a place that I can perform. Get our lunch paid for.
Alright.
So,
So, roll me either a perception or an investigation check. We'll see if you're able to kind of figure out the lay of the land to figure where you might do the best.
guidance.
Okay,
With that D4 ready, I'm going to do it a lot.
perfect. Okay, d20 plus d4 plus perception is 6. 28 with a natural 20.
Oh, very nice. Okay. So, at a quick kind of little circle through town and or kind of through the fortified area and then through the main section of town, just right outside the fortified gates, there are a few different options available. The two best ones would probably be the inn closest to the castle, where a lot of dignitaries stay. That one would be more because of the amount of money that the people that are staying there would probably be willing to give you. But your
Right.
population quantity is going to be lower. Pretty dramatically lower as far as like the actual number of people that are going to be passing by. To the outside, there is Tiger's Tail, which is a brewery and pub that is pretty heavily populated, and so that one is very much going to be. It's kind of right in the middle of one of the populated areas of town that, or not populated, but most foot trafficked areas of town.
That one's Wayland's sisters, right?
No, hers is the one that's attached to the inn by the castle. Yeah, the palace.
And that's the one where we're having lunch.
She would actually probably be bringing you to the tavern by the castle, by the palace.
Okay,
So
that's
you
probably the best one then.
okay?
So that we're close to where we need to be.
Yeah. So the Amethyst Tavern is where you would head then. And go ahead and roll me a D100.
100. Okay, 14.
14. Okay, and I think we've been multiplying that by 3. Am I
I
making
think so.
that
I
up?
think it depends. Well, I think you usually based it based on the roll, the performance check, right?
Ah,
I
that's
could
right.
be
That's
wrong
right.
on that.
Yeah. So roll me the performance check. I think that you're right, and like how far over 20 you get kind of dictates what I multiply it by.
Guidance.
Okay, so d20 plus d4 plus a d8 plus 11, 29.
29. Okay. Yeah. So you're gonna be able to multiply that by 5.
Okay, 14 times 5. I'm not going to be able to do that in my head, so 70. Cool.
Sweet. Yeah, so you're able to make some good coin. Not a huge crew, but the ones that are there are very appreciative. It's an interesting mix of people. Like the people that are staying there, that are obviously like staying there, seem pretty highfalutin. The people that are eating there, pretty good mix of folks. There are a lot of folks that seem like locals. There's a big guy that looks like a gardener, who's got like a bionic arm. Uh, there's there different uh, there's somebody who looks kind of like maybe they were teaching a pottery class. It's a little kobold and a kind of an apron that's got clay still kind of on it and is taking it off as they enter in. Like, it's an interesting mix of people. Um, those that are there give pretty generously. The ones that are visiting give very generously. Uh, but it is a smaller crowd than it might have been elsewhere. So yeah, they give well, and somewhere kind of towards the end of your performance, the Wayland's sister, Anna's, uh, she invites you when you go in to. She's totally okay with you performing outside the establishment. Um, like cute short blonde dwarf with just like crazy long pigtail braids, um, and a disposition similar to very much similar to the Smith, um, just being very jovial, pleasantly surprised by everybody and everything all the time, loves a good story, is enjoying the energy that this performance is bringing.
Santa Claus.
Yeah, she's Santa's sister. That's a good way to say it. Very much Santa's sister situation here. Um, so as you kind of wind down, um, there is a like violet looking tiefling that kind of comes up to listen, just kind of perches to the side for a little while, and you can kind of see that the tail is like twitching back and forth a little bit. Really beautiful young woman, um, who is being very attentive to you. Um, Eden, roll me a wisdom save.
Okay, just +3.
Plus
Okay, so background. I'm trying over getting
10.
Yep.
She is stunning.
This
And
would be where Eden fails.
yep. Yep. It kind of staggers you a little bit. It's an odd kind of like you hold your performance, but there's this fixation and you feel such a need to impress her. It
Right.
is this
So then we will
intense
be dumping some
obsession with
spell
that.
slots in.
Nice. Nice.
Um,
Okay.
And
What are
so
you
the
doing?
performance is going to get bigger. Let's see. So it's going to be some major illusion stuff. Um, so he knows that there's some sort of connection with this castle and the battle at the mountain. So he's going to tell some of his Paul's sorry, some of his Paul stories. But he's going to like lean into it, doing the whole like major illusion. So it's going to light up the whole space. There will be, a mock battle happening with multiple combatants and things that are all illusory. And it might, if he can manage it, it might actually like interact and play around her sort of specifically.
She kind of has this little like Disney movie moment where she twirls around with the illusion twirling around her and is like delighted by it. Um yeah, it's a great performance. You do incredibly well, and she is,
Mark off my
as
spell
far
slot.
as you're concerned, she is so like she is reflecting that fixation and deep interest in you. Um and seeing that like you seem to be with him, um she kind of she starts edging her way over to Thea, um to kind of talk to her about who this is and all of that kind of stuff. Uh, she'll come over. Hi, you're new in town. Are you part of his group of people? Are you together?
We travel together, yeah.
Oh, well, that's interesting. That's a really fascinating thing to see too. You're very different. You're both very different. But you are gorgeous, just so you know. Roll me a wisdom save.
Hey, he is not good. She doesn't like this. Wisdom. Can I guidance myself because my wisdom is not great. I'm smart, not wise. There's a difference.
There is.
There
There
is.
absolutely is.
Oh, natural 20.
Yeah.
Nice.
For oh, and I have advantage on this. Aha.
You're not going to get any better than a natural 20, though.
Yep.
28.
28. Oh yeah, so this is not necessarily something she is doing on purpose to you, but you feel this tug at you like you are being twisted by her presence. And there's this inclination where it's like you want to be fascinated by her, but it feels artificial. So you're able to kind of push it out of your brain. Um, but you kind of can tell that other people around her, especially Eden, but you can tell other people around her are having a similar kind of a similar pull. Like there's definitely a draw to her. And so it's very much a similar, like a split draw between like her and Eden. People are fascinated by both of them quite a bit. And at this point you see Tanae's Sio's mom like running up from one of the thoroughfares, like clutching a satchel, like kind of huffing and puffing. It looks like she's just like escaping school or something like that. Heading back your direction. Uh and like, wait. And like gets to you and for a second just has to Miss Thea, this is Tix. Mr. Eden, this is my friend Tix. I'm
You'll be finishing up, and he just sort of weeps.
she gives you a little bit of a back like, this is the friend I was telling you, Miss Thea. They are something similar. Um and I feel as though either this is a very good idea or a very terrible idea. Uh
Little A, little B.
but, but Tix has a very specific skill set that has occasionally been problematic in the past. And this is a similar feeling. I hope I did not presume too much. But yes, come in. I will buy us lunch.
No, no,
She'll,
no. Lunch is on me.
okay. Are you sure?
I came by early specifically to make sure that I could cover lunch.
Would he be doing this if he were not under the influence of Twitter patient?
Probably not, actually.
With
I mean,
that
maybe, but
with
Fair
that
enough.
wisdom check, do I get a feeling like this is something that she's intentionally doing?
It doesn't feel intentional. Um, but you also don't think that she is aware that Eden is Twitter pated now. Like, there's a certain lack of awareness that is incorporated in this on both sides. um, when you offer, Tanae's kind of looks over at you and We'll see. We'll see. Thank you. Yes. She doesn't argue. She's just like, yeah, we'll say that for now, and we'll see how you feel later. Uh, um, and gestures for you to come in. Anna's will seat you guys at a table kind of in the corner. There is an unusual hum of attention around the table, not because people are coming up to you and bothering you. There's just a fascination now between these two people, between Eden uh, and Tix. But like honestly, this is a very pretty table of people. You've got Tanae's, you've got like you and Tix, you've got Thea, who's a very like in this particular context would be a very like exotic person to look at. Like you don't see a lot of drow, particularly not with like inky black skin. So like this is a very visually stunning table.
D&D is the only world where I could ever be described as exotic.
Exotic, yes. Stunning, I feel like you are a beautiful human. But uh but yes, exotic
Exotic.
you do not come off as exotic.
Only in make believe.
Yeah, samesies. Like the closest thing I have to exotic is my nose, and I don't know that that's necessarily a positive. So, it is what it is. It's fine. We can't all be like, you know, weird fantasy characters all the time.
Unfortunately.
I know.
I mean, that's what makeup's for, right?
I am pretty sure that that is not a thing that flies nowadays.
Oh no, I'm not talking blackface. I'm talking fantasy makeup.
Ah, okay. That
I thought the same thing.
yeah, I'm like, yeah, no, that's definitely not what makeup is for.
Yeah, not exotic, but fantasy.
This is like the closest I'm willing to ever approach to that is a fake tan, buddy.
We're about
That
80
is it.
years too late for that one. But
Yeah, that is it. That is it.
But no, tomorrow we're gonna Erin found some of our Halloween makeup and wants I'm gonna do something tomorrow for her, make her up
Oh,
into
fun.
something fantasy.
Oh, I want to see. Yeah, show me.
It'll be late because she's going to a show with Grandma and Grandpa tomorrow. But
Oh, fun. Cool. Very nice. But yeah, you guys are invited in, and Anna's kind of gives you the rundown on what the specials are and all of that kind of stuff. She seems reasonably immune to this. Like her give a crap about all of this seems reasonably broken. She's happy you're there, but she seems utterly nonplussed. Not affected at all. So yeah, you guys are able to kind of get your orders put in and all of that. And Tanae's will look over at the two of you. Um, so I do not know how to really introduce this idea. But it is my general impression that you are also demonkin, yes? She'll gesture over at
that's
Eden.
kind of what I understand. Yes.
Well, Tix is as well.
Mhm.
And has some similar features that I have not found in other like tiefling demonkin things of that nature. That made me think perhaps you would have information to share with one another that might be useful as she has been learning to control her skills over the
As a
past years.
thief.
Sometimes. Uh, she has been working to learn to control the skill set for some time and has not been exposed to anyone else who possesses it.
You
So
are a musician as well.
Tix kind of grins at you and starts giggling. Like, oh no, no, no. You know what she means.
I could teach you.
You don't know what she means, do you?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Kind of sits back and flips her hair back. Oh, well, this is awkward then. Do you ever notice that you attract a lot of people to your general vicinity in spite of oddities that might be otherwise perceived as, I won't say off-putting, but unusual? Do you seem to be incredibly magnetic a lot?
That's just my personality and my musical ability.
The
And
people that
he'll like pop open the thing in his shoulder and pluck a couple of strings.
Oh. Oh. Now you are a brilliant musician, and I should be very clear about that. I think that you are musically a genius and could carry your own very well. Like, speaking very complimentary, you could carry yourself very, very well without anything else um, assisting you. But do you ever notice that the people that you are closest to can sometimes start finding themselves run down and drained?
Well,
Or
Eric
maybe,
had a bit of a recovery process, but he seems to be doing fine now.
So you've not noticed that there's anything odd about you?
Sort of uncomfortably shifts his wings. No?
So I could be wrong about this, and that's entirely possible. So
Or the,
this is like such an awkward conversation to have in front of others, and Tix is like does not give two craps. So forgive me if I'm incorrect, but you're not a tiefling. You know this, right?
I mean, I'm an outworlder, I think is what you call them.
Y- yeah, but somehow or another you came into the world as something not exactly common. Um,
Again, he sort
so,
of like, he shifts his cape to sort of cover his wings better.
oh, honey, nobody cares about the wings. They're pretty. Just let them be.
Then I am at a loss.
So, sometimes people have a little extra influence where it's probably not a thing that they should have, and then they have to kind of figure out how to control. She looks over at the bar, where like the guy with the bionic arm is sitting, and like drops her napkin on the ground, and she kind of flicks her tail a little bit, and you can see like there is a shift in his face, and she'll turn her head, or he'll turn his head, and see that it's hit the ground, and like immediately comes over and picks it up. Here you go, sweetheart. And hands her the napkin. You are gorgeous, just so you know. Just absolutely stunning. And he's not rude. Like, he goes back over to his seat, but like after that point, every few seconds he turns around to look at her. So there's a certain amount of control that can be a bit problematic sometimes. And I could be wrong, but I think you're like me.
He's gonna reach over and like pick up the napkin and drop it.
I would like for you to roll me just a charisma, like charisma performance. I could see either of those being like, if you're genuinely trying to catch somebody's attention, like,
So he's not specifically trying to catch anybody's attention. It's more like He was trying to prove a point like that. That seems silly. It's just because you're a pretty woman. Like, it's pretty privilege.
Gotcha.
He's gonna drop it.
So in that case, just charisma, not like a yeah. What was that?
I'm sorry, 15.
15? Okay. So it's not the same response, but there are a couple of folks behind him that do kind of pay a little extra attention for a second. And somebody does actually, like, one of them turns around and a woman will pick up his napkin and hand it back to him. It's like, here you go, hon. And then turn back around. And she does glance at him again, but like it's not the same level. It's more politeness, but she is kind of she's paying attention. So it's not got the same weird kind of like I just put a spell on you sort of a vibe. But yeah. His attempt to thwart her attempt was also sort of thwarted.
I'm gonna drop a napkin.
Roll me a charisma check.
Maybe we were just really nice.
Watch it be a nat 20.
Oh, that is 23.
I love it. Okay. Yeah, like the same guy has been like continually like turning and looking at this point, and he sees you do the same thing and he's like, okay, and goes over and picks up the napkin, my lady, and hands it to him.
Thank you.
Okay, so the experiment has been a little bit skewed, you guys. I just feel like
Just
you
not
should
sure I
be...
understand.
What?
I'm just not sure that I quite understand what you're getting at.
So, I could be wrong, but based on what Tanae's told me last night, I think that you might be like me, and what I am is a succubus. So, it would be worth your time to pay attention to the impact that you have on the people around you. I was hoping that maybe you would have some, maybe insights as to how you cope or things like that to see if there were things that we could kind of hash out, see what's what. But I gather you are a bit farther behind me in this particular journey. So, if I'm right at all, which maybe not, but if
I've just been watching Reagan's face this whole time.
Well, because I feel like he has learned like quite a few of Eden's secrets, like covertly. So I feel like I'm in now.
she's in the circle, she's in
Yep.
the loop, and,
I mean,
like,
this is a secret that Eden is not particularly aware of himself.
Okay.
But
yep. Like, there's this air of like, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be able to say I told you so at some point. But, but she's being really like flippant about it and giving room, giving space to be wrong about it. Like, I would just be aware of the people you are closest to. In case there are some side effects that you have not been noticing, because that can be unfortunate.
what kind of things should I be aware of?
Well, in the broader spectrum of things, it might just be that you accidentally manipulate people that you don't mean to, and that can be questionable in the way of ethics. But for the people that you care about most in an intimate sense, you could potentially be very bad for their health. I get. Oh, this is an awkward conversation to have in public, but I'm gonna have it anyway. So, there is a certain amount of energy and vitality that I receive from my intimate relationships. And unfortunately, that comes at a cost to the other half of that relationship. I don't think that that has to mean that you can't have those kinds of relationships, but I think that it has to be balanced very carefully. And I'm still kind of learning about that for myself. So,
Eden is just sort of like making connections now.
see the
So is
pinball
Thea.
machine.
Okay.
So it's a worthwhile thing to know and to learn skills to cope with and practice. And like I said, I'm still working on mine. I thought that maybe you knew, uh, and that maybe you had some input that I hadn't thought about. I'm getting much better at mine. Like, I'm not desperately seeking knowledge from a wise guru because I cannot cope myself. But it's always good to have different perspectives. So I thought since I never have the opportunity to meet another person like me, it might be
Sorry,
a
I don't have
good
more
thing
to
to know.
share.
Well, no, well, I'm glad if I'm right, which I could be wrong. There's another one of those attitudes with it. Um, then I'm still glad that I talked to you because this would be a thing that you should probably know.
Are there any like allergies to peanuts or anything like that that I should be aware of as part of our heritage though?
I have not figured out any of those. I will say that mangoes absolutely just make my whole mouth, they set it on fire. I think that's just a me thing, though.
Oh,
I could be
mangoes are
wrong.
delicious. I'm so sorry. That is an experience that I wish you could have.
I mean, I've had it. I'm not probably going to repeat it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I mean, on the plus side, though, as a musical performer, your particular je ne sais quoi, uh, is definitely useful in financial gain. So you picked a good career path. I did too. It's just not probably that ethical all the time.
What is it you do?
Oh, I'm a thief.
Eden immediately like goes to check his pocket, but sort of like tries to hide it.
No, not that kind of thief. I'm reformed. I used to steal a lot when I was younger, and I still do, but now it's kind of more of a Robin Hood sort of situation where you're, stealing from people who stole from people who shouldn't have been stolen from, or, stealing from the rich, giving to the poor, stealing from the slaveholders, giving back to the freed slaves, things like that.
It seems like a much better career.
I agree. I like it. I had to the it was rough starting, but the people that I fell in with were very patient with my particular difficulties and lack of understanding of control because I don't know, 15, 16 when all of the weird started happening and people just started doing whatever I told them to, and being a little hyper fixated. And I didn't know what the hell to do with that. So things got out of hand in life really, really fast. But fell in with the right group, and they were patient and understanding, and were able to kind of help me work through a lot of things. So it's ended up being a good job in spite of starting off as a bad job that was just to get me by. And now I do good things for good people.
Eden is paying attention, but he's also a little bit more distant than he usually is, because he's concerned.
Yep. And she recognizes this face and she turns to Thea and she's like, I am reasonably positive I just sent your friend into an existential crisis. I am very sorry about that. But if there's anything that I can do to kind of help that later on, you just let me know, okay?
What's a good starting point? Like, is there a support group? Do you meditate? Where do we start?
Oh, now I want that to be a thing.
The succubus support group.
Yeah. Well, I have not found anybody else like me until now. Assuming I'm right, anyway. Or assuming Tanae's is right, and then I'm right. Assuming we're right. So support group, not so much. But there are supportive groups that are helpful. This sounds really, really weird, but my weird little gaggle of thieves, my band of merry men, if you will, are actually like they had to deal with me when I was going through this as a teenager. So I feel like they would actually have a lot of wisdom on what your brain does when you're having to deal with all of that strangeness all at once. So they're a good group for that. A lot of it, and I'm not great at this yet, but a lot of it boils down to mindfulness and understanding. Because if I am not careful, if I don't actually keep myself present in my own mind, what I accidentally did to him on the way in, what I accidentally kind of sort of almost did to you on the way in, is just kind of what happens. So there's almost like a mindful, I have to turn that part of my brain off to nurture like the authentic connections that I can make with the people around me instead of just like, you know, and then you explode everything and it's just yucky. It's a thing that I have to be aware of and in control of all of the time. And I'm not always great at that, but I'm getting better at it. It's something that I just have to pay close attention to a lot.
Eden's gonna pick up that same napkin, and he's like making sure that anybody who's looking sees that he is purposely like holding it up and drops it.
Now give me like that performance check. Like, this is an effort.
24.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So it's not the same lady. The lady who picked it up before like turned around in her chair, picked it up, and turned back. You kind of see her straighten up in her chair a little bit, but the folks that she's talking to, like a couple of the girls that she's talking to, like they perk up too, and one of them like runs over to grab it and like give it back, and then like, hi, you're new here, and then kind of catches herself and blushes really big.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. And yes, we are new to town, but we will be leaving shortly. Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Oh, pleased to meet you too. You're all lovely. Well, if you're doing anything tonight to celebrate going out of town, let me know. if you need a place to celebrate, or if you're gonna be in one of the taverns or anything, we'd love to see you off right.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. I will let you know.
And there's like this little like giggle thing happening behind you once they kind of turn the other way and exit.
Can we leave now? I don't like.
It's weird when it happens like that, isn't it? We can go someplace else. It's fine. I don't
Sorry.
think that yours is quite as unchecked as mine can be, was.
Well, I was never a teenager like this, so
Oh, Outworlder. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, didn't dawn on me. That's like you have been a teenager, but not like I understand now.
right,
I
right.
understand. I see. Yeah. Yeah, it's at least not quite so bad on that end of things. It doesn't look like, so that's good at least. But yeah, let's go someplace else. There's a park that we can just like kind of sit and visit at. It's really pretty. You'll probably like it.
Though I am serious. Let me pay for food. We can take it with us, perhaps.
Sure. Yeah. So yeah, it won't take long for the food to come out and whatnot. And she'll talk to Thea too and be like, so this is a weird conversation to have when you weren't expecting it, about one of your friends. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm fine. Nothing really surprises me anymore. I just roll with it at this point.
You know,
He is totally immune.
I feel like that's honestly a pretty good way to be. I have become more and more like that over the years. I think especially living here, like not just here, but here, weird stuff happens here all the time. I think it's because of the people that live here. They just bring it with them. But, you know, that's a guess on my part. I can't really say much because they brought me here, so I feel like I am part of that weird, but they get you set up with the food, and she takes you over to a park that has like these really beautiful memorial benches, and it's just overflowing with these chains of pots that they're rain chains, but each link in the chain is a flower pot that's overflowing with cascades of flowers on the way down, and has like a little community garden for vegetables and stuff like that on one side, and a little playground for kids. Um, and it's reasonably unpopulated right now. Um, and Tanae's just kind of follows along and is listening with rapt attention, Is kind of learning about these new people that came out of the blue, uh, with many surprises in tow. um, and yeah, so you've just learned a new thing about yourself. Are there other questions that Ian thinks to ask, or is he just churning along?
He's like he actually would probably mostly shut down. Like before, he was listening while he was thinking, but now he's just sort of like idly picking out tunes while he's thinking, and he's no longer attentive to the conversation.
Okay. So Tix will turn the conversation to you, Thea, and start asking you questions. Like, so you're an Outworlder too, I take it?
Yeah.
Do you know how you got here?
Do I know how I got here?
You gave me a link to Madness. I don't know if you would have put together that that's kind of what gave you the opening. It might be more like you just assume that Dream decided to hire you.
Okay.
So
I work for Dream, and I guess he put me here. I don't know. I kind of woke up.
that cool. That is interesting. So you work for Dream. What do you do?
I write people's dreams. Go around and make observations and see cool things and write dreams for people to have.
So you write them for the Outworlders?
Um,
My husband will.
I don't. I guess I write them for everybody. I'm not sure if it's just Outworlders or who get them, or also people in this world.
That is a really, really good job. I love that. Oh, so you're gathering weird stories and all of that. Do you write romances?
It's not my specialty, but
Oh. Well, if you ever decide that you're gonna get interesting with the romances, not the super spicy stuff, but like Tanae's over here has a really amazing love story that she could share. Um, also just like she's seen so many strange things in her lifetime. If you ever need to pick a brain, I feel like hers is a good one. And she's just like Tanae's is turning bright red. You gather that she is a reasonably shy person. And this entire conversation has been fine as long as she could just be an observer. Calling attention to her did her no favors in the way of presence. Uh this is just like, oh, it tries to kind of dissolve into the ground. Um like she's like, oh no, Tix, you are far more interesting than me, thank you. Uh and so
I
we'll
didn't get to that part, but I know what you're
oh, I
talking
thought that was you. Sorry. I was hearing stuff behind Steven and I thought it was Reagan talking.
Sorry, no, Natalie is playing a game online.
No, you're fine. Yeah, that's so they Tix kind of starts listing off a bunch of bizarre things that she has seen, knowing that she just kind of made put Tanae's on the spot. Um, she starts listing off all of these odd things that they've gotten into. You gather that one of her thief friends is a giant raccoon, and frequently gets them into trouble. So she starts describing these bizarre shenanigans where the raccoon has gotten into problematic situations because he is a kleptomaniac, absolutely, um, and does not have good self-control skills. So
he's making a mental note to like just add a giant raccoon to something to some group. Just add in a giant raccoon.
oh, if you ever want to, I can introduce you to him. He's hilarious. He's really cute and
That
really
sounds
funny.
amazing.
Yep, he's great. He lives pretty close by nowadays. It's nice to be close by in case there's a job that comes up that we need to take. 'Cause we were way late to one of our first ones, and it still ended up being an okay thing. But I feel like the thing that we were supposed to actually do to begin with, we kind of didn't do so great because we were a little too far away. Um, so it's nice
It
to
wasn't
kind of.
their fault though.
That's true. so so yeah, if you ever want to meet some of my folks, they're pretty great. What's that?
Thea is writing Guardians of the Galaxy right now.
Oh no! I guess that's kind of true. Uh, yep, yeah, I didn't actually think about that. Um, so yeah, Tix is just like rapid fire telling you stories that she thinks might be useful for dream writing. Um,
While she's doing this, I'm doing my best to like pay attention, but telepathically, I'll say to Eden, "Are you okay?"
Yeah, a lot to think about. A lot of thinking.
not that I would.
Do you need to get out of here? Are you ready to go back to the castle, or what do you
Maybe
need?
not yet. I think actually this ritual that we're helping with today will give me a good time to be not a part of myself, and I can sort of sort through things and then talk to people who should be informed.
Yeah.
Yeah, just give you a thumbs up.
I mean, I'll help you in any way that I can. I don't think that I'll be any help in this.
I think this one is probably better come in a more private setting.
That's fair. That's fair. And then I'll tune back into the stories.
But she'll keep right on going. At some point, Tanae's will kind of like wise up to like, okay, like this is a lot for everybody probably to take. And she just kind of rests a hand on Tix's shoulder and Tix, my friend, I feel like you're like our friends probably have much to do. And maybe not so much time to do it within. But we should let them do what they need to do. And the Tix just kind of agrees and is kind of easygoing about it and like, oh yeah, absolutely. Look, if you end up having any questions or needing anything from somebody who kind of gets it and knows how odd it can be, let me know because I'm more than willing to talk with you about such things. And I don't know if it'll be helpful or not, but probably won't hurt.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's just sort of a lot to take in. I have some people that I need to inform because they deserve to be informed.
Yeah. Been there, done that. My apologies.
Do not apologize. Thank you.
I'm glad I could at least let you know.
Yeah, yeah. Their health is very important to me. So thank you.
Of course.
I don't know how much longer we're going to be in the city. I don't know when we're going to have to leave. I have the ability to contact people across large, like great distances. If there's some information that we need from you, would it be okay if I need you to contact you that way?
Sure, absolutely.
Like, just my voice will just kind of pop into your head. So I try to warn everybody that I can.
Honey, you can talk to me anytime.
Ooh.
You just say the words. I am more than happy to help however I can. And she'll pick herself up and dust herself off.
I think we've got some stuff this afternoon that we need to get prepared for. So we're gonna head on out.
Yes, we're meeting with Mr. Steele today. So
Oh, I like him. He's a sweetie.
he seems the
He's a
good
good
sort.
guy. Yeah. Yeah, he'll treat you real good, I'm sure. Well, you guys, good luck with your ritual. If you need me, feel free to reach out. If you ever need a thief for anything, I'm your girl.
I'll keep that in mind, actually.
Cool. I can see
Thank
I can see the gears turning, and I like that. Smell a job on the horizons.
Maybe not one that you want to take, but we'll discuss that later.
Job's a job as long as it's a good one.
Might be a dangerous one, but
I've probably done more dangerous things. Actually, I don't know if that's true. I don't know what you guys get into, but I've done dangerous things before. You can just run it by me.
It's just Cochet the Deathless. It's fine.
I mean, I don't know that name, but it scares.
That's good.
It scares pretty soundly. It sounds pretty scary. So, meh, I mean, we can talk about it. I'm always open for discussion.
Thank you. It's
Bye.
been a pleasure to meet you.
It's been a pleasure to meet you too. I hope to talk to you again soon. and she'll pick up and kind of almost like skip away. She's very buoyant. And like Tanae's, on the other hand, like gets up, dusts herself off a little bit. That conversation did not go at all how I thought that it would. I apologize for the trauma of the sudden realization.
Nothing to apologize for.
Well, I hope that it is helpful and a good thing for you in the long term. I don't know if this is any consolation, but I think that you're a very good sort.
I did try. Thank you.
I see the way that you interact with your friends, and it warms my heart.
Your son also seems a good sort. That is important to note.
He's a very, very good sort, and all of my children are really. They're delightful. They are my lights. Wonderful, wonderful beings that I am proud to have the privilege to parent.
No, I appreciate it.
If he ever wants to learn to play an instrument,
He would love to. If you are willing to teach him, I think that he would be elated to learn.
would be a good thing. But I do think we ought to be going.
Yes. If there is anything that I can do for you, I am not as versed in the issues that we just discussed as Tix, but in general, if there are things that I can do to be of service, then do please let me know.
Well, thank you.
And she'll give a bow before she turns to leave.
Eden's just gonna look at the end and be like, "We should go."
Let's just focus our energy into this walking and try to make it the best we can.
Yeah. Also, maybe worth checking with Mr. Steele. Maybe you ask him if he's actually okay with doing what we're asking him instead of me. I want him to be doing this of his own volition and not because of whatever is going on.
I'm sure that that's not an issue, but I understand. I'll talk to him.
Thank you. Eden will be pretty quiet the rest of the way.
I know it's just your cold, but you sound so sad. It's just like adding to the moment because you just sound so sad.
Just them excellent acting skills. It does add to the effect quite a bit.
It does.
Oh, goodness.
Well, yeah, we'll just try to mosey, I guess, back to the. I guess we're doing this at the castle.
Yeah. Back at the ranch.
But
Yeah, and as you guys pass by, you have the option of swinging wide and collecting Teffin so that you can do, you can have him there as well. So I assume that would be a thing, or would you talk to Estiel first?
it's just whoever's on the way first.
Yeah, probably grab Teffin on the way.
Okay. So you collect your friendly neighborhood Teffin, and back in the castle, you would be greeted almost immediately as you enter after you're past the guards. They are no longer policing your weapons so much. They do check to make sure that, like, there's a brief check-in where they examine your eyes before you go in. But once you are through, like, they don't mind you entering with your actual equipment. So
I think they still have my sword, so
yeah, like if they haven't given it back yet, then they're not gonna mind too much. But to do so, but that would just be kind of one of those, like, once he's ready for it again, they don't feel obligated to keep it from them at this point. They feel safe-ish. All except for Paul, who's the only one who was armed anyway.
Do you want me to make any sort of roll or anything for the work I was doing this morning?
Oh yes, it's a different day. Go for it.
Okay.
I wasn't with you for it, so I can't give you the extra D8. But
Yeah, that's fine. 15.
I mean, it's not bad. You're still making progress. It's just a little slower than how you started. You started with, like, guns a-blare and all steam forward, but just a little slower progress than what you have been making. But it's still good progress.
Okay,
Still good quality work.
cool.
Yeah. So you guys are able to make it in. Almost as you enter, Callan rounds a corner to greet you for the morning, and well, I guess at this point he's already greeted you, but to see that you're in, and good to see you, my friends. I assume that you have the materials collected that are needed. Excellent. You all right?
yes, fine.
We just wanted to check in with you again. I know that there is an element of danger to this, and we want to make sure that you're comfortable doing this for us, and we'll help you in any way that we can.
Oh, this is Callan, just so you know.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, this is the husband.
Forget I said
He
that.
is not okay with this.
Definitely
Actually.
not
He's
comfortable
not.
with this.
I'm not asking his permission.
That's smart. I'm like, oh, if you're gonna give me an opportunity to say no, I'm gonna say no.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but he will show you into a room that has like a hot spring running through it. That's kind of dimly lit by some glowing stones set into the walls. It's a weird little bit of outdoors indoors kind of an idea. And there is like flat slate floor kind of to either side of the stream. And the stream has like a really gentle, like glowing algae to it that's just, it's a very, very peaceful space. There are a few different ritual tools already there, some sound cleansing things like bells and whatnot, things that you imagine that maybe somebody uses frequently, and some remnants of old candles and such.
Is there any kind of like a table that Eden could grab?
Yeah, if he asks for one, like there's not one in this space right now, but if he asks for one, Callan can provide that pretty easily.
Yeah, just a low table if you wouldn't mind.
Of course, I can certainly do that. That's not a problem.
Thank you. I would like a place to set up my bells.
Oh, yes, absolutely. We can arrange that. I'll bring that in very quickly. As he steps out of the room, you almost see him like step out and vanish. And it doesn't take him long to come back with a low table. At this point, Estiel would probably be coming back into the room to kind of settle in the space and start getting his mind in gear for what's to come. You'll also see that Callan brings in effectively like a mattress, a decorative like kind of single person futon sort of a thing, and lays that down kind of in the middle of the room, middle of the stone floor part. Well, while you guys get this ready, I'll happily join your circle and whatnot, but I will step out for a moment and see to a couple of other things. I'll be back shortly. He'll step out and whoosh, again out into the nothingness. So it's just you guys and Estiel at this point.
So then I'll go to a
Um,
steal and be like, "Hey, we know this is dangerous. Are you sure you want to do?"
There we go.
And
Did you have something you were going to say beforehand, Stephen?
oh, just that that we know that this is a dangerous, and we just want to make sure that he's still comfortable doing this and for us. And
No, like it's a hard thing to do.
Sometimes things that are uncomfortable are still the best option that we have at the time. I am tangentially aware of Koschei the Deathless, and I am aware that he is a threat that needs to be contained and
So
stopped.
I work at
So
Walmart. So
I do not mind the idea
before I
of
did,
being of assistance to you.
so before I
Um,
did structures, I
there is
was,
danger to it. I do not like
and there's this girl that came
the
and
danger
she
associated,
this
but
girls
I am the best person for the job.
ever seen. Like they were
This is not.
just that.
I have
Yeah.
had
I don't
these moments before where I have had to do this,
but like,
and it is
and
not
I even said,
something that I. Just a
like,
second.
I tried to say, how that-
Gotta. There we go.
and I feel like I
This
hope
is not something that I prefer to do.
she just looked it and then looked down and literally
I know the anxiety that it causes
say another word to me.
those who love me, as there has been
So I was like,
difficulty in the past that has caused me great,
I mean, you have no idea. Like, I don't know.
nearly cost my life. So
You just have that big,
the fears involved, I understand.
yeah, like there could have been anything, but I was like,
But sometimes things are the right thing to do, and I am willing to do that if that is what is needed. And in this case, I believe it is needed.
anything that you need, any help that we can give, it's yours.
Really?
I will guide you through the circle process. Once
Okay.
we have begun the ritual, we can. You can follow me and perhaps be able to integrate spells if I am found in a situation where there is potential threat and danger. So I feel that with the grounding that you would present from the circle, adding your own
I feel like she was just chill about it.
experience in Arcana to my own, and then the possibilities of your own spells to help protect me, I think that that will be an ample assistance to me. So I thank you for your own willingness. While I know that the risk is not as great to you, I also understand that it is not without risk to you. And so it is meaningful to me that you should be willing to do that.
We're grateful for any information that we can get.
So, Eden will reach into the bag of holding, and he pulls out 6 glass spheres that Tefin actually made for a previous ritual, and he will hand them to Tefin. And then he'll take a really thick velvet and lay it out on the table, and he will set up his bells, and something that's, since you guys have seen it before, is very ritualistic for him. Like he sets them out and adjusts them each so that they're spaced evenly apart and things. And then he'll just basically sit there and sort of meditate as he prepares for the whole thing.
All right. Okay. So Do you want to go ahead and get into the ritual now? Do we want to go ahead and end so that I mean it's midnight for you anyway.
Yeah, we should
We want to
probably
end
call
here
it
and pick
there.
up once Jason can join us again.
Yeah, this
So-
has been a lot of fun, but I'm fading.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a day on my end, so I have deeply enjoyed this though. I've missed getting to play with you guys.
Mhm.
Sorry, I was struggling a little bit there a few times myself.
That's all right.
Great.
We'll call it there, and we'll pick it up next time.
Cute thumbs.